here is big, and it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello everyone and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name's Bart Hansen. I'm here with Dave Tuckman. We're going to be doing our usual Tuesday 10-20 no limit game. A ton of new faces in the game.
Our usual what?
Friday. There's what my head was on Tuesday. Usual Friday 10-20 no limit game, $1,000 min, uncapped buy-in. Tons of new faces.
Right.
What, 6 or 7 new players, something like that?
Yeah, we got the big tournament in town, Stars and Stripes tournament. A lot of the tournament players are playing in the game.
All right, great.
So,
well, let's head over to the table and let's get started.
Let's do it. I was wondering if maybe you started Double Fist Friday early and that became Tuesday. Seat number 1, we've got Mark. Good old guy there. And I played with Mark a couple of times. And he's the first time live at the bike. When I played with him, he, well, let's see how he plays. I don't know if I played with him enough to figure out exactly how he plays. Seat number 2 is Max. Max is a bit of a gambler, a little unpredictable, never really know where he's at. Seat number 3, we've got Hollywood Russ, the myth, the legend. Seat number 4, we've got Adam. And now we've seen Adam on the show twice. Once we saw him in this game, and he really racked it in. He won about $9,000. Then he donked off about $2,000 in the 3-5 game on Tuesday. And let's see which Adam we get tonight. Seat number 5, we've got Sean. Sean's a bit of action, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Likes to gamble it up. Seat number 6 is not really action. This is probably the token professional poker player on the table. That's Paul.
Well seasoned, like a nice turkey or chicken.
Yeah, exactly. Seat number 7 is David. And I don't know much about David. David was trying to get in that 25-50 game on Wednesday and could not, got shut out. So it's interesting to see how he plays tonight. Seat number 8, we've got Alan.
Okay. That's, I think, is a new player to the show as well.
Also new. And seat number 9, we've got Ron. And I was talking to Ron before the show, and he was really looking forward. He goes, Dave, be honest, okay? I don't want you to compliment me. I want you to really be honest and tell me if I suck. Yeah, no, he said that. He really said that.
Wow.
So I told him if he sucked, I'd tell him he sucked.
Cool.
I told him I do that to everybody. I mean, I don't really pull punches. I know you don't either.
Well, 10-20 no limit. Brown chips are $10 chips. White chips are hundreds. Get in the first hand of the night here. The board reads 8-5-9 here. And I don't think anyone has a pair. It was raised by Ace-King. King Deuce is in there. Adam, I think Adam must have led at this flop from up front. Something that seems like he would do.
Well, if he leads out again, he might take it down. But the amazing thing is, he got called by Queen 10, who had a gut shot, and get overcalled by Ace King.
He bets the flop, gets called by Sean, and Max, like you said, he overcalled with Ace King.
And like I said, I mean, he's a little bit of an action player.
Yeah. And just when you think, Adam might shut down when top pair pairs, he doesn't. He bets again. And he's going to win the first hand of the night with King High. Wow.
I got to tell you, I mean, I was dying to get into this game. It looked like a lot of the familiar faces are not here today. It's raining in L.A., and that's like a national holiday.
Right.
If anything, it's like a national catastrophe for L.A. Anyway, a lot of our big normal faces aren't here. And when I saw the lineup, I was trying to finagle my way into seat 5. But
I told you no.
Yeah, pretty much. I got a little guilt trip from you, and I said, okay, I won't play. I was going to actually play in seat 5, and I gave it up to Sean. I think our viewers would rather see me in the game than Sean, I got to tell you. I know I'd rather be in seat 5 than in here.
Pocket King's over here for seat 9, and he's going to raise. He's going to make it 100 to go. Again, we're playing 10-20 blinds, so 5 times the big blind.
That's a pretty customary raise. I mean, depending on the table I'm playing at, I like to raise either somewhere between 80 and 120, depending on what kind of table it is.
And Adam calls on the button with pocket 3s. That's a hand that can crack a big overpair. Oh, he just misses his set. Jack 4 deuce here.
Did you get anything for just missing?
And Ron's going to bet 200 here, a stack of brown.
Yeah, pretty much a...
Wow, and Adam quickly calls. Wow.
Adam might make a play at this.
He's trying to represent. Now, the turns 5 gives him an open-ended stretch run. It's the 3rd club.
Now, if Adam had the 3 of clubs, might be able to represent.
Ron checks, and Adam is going to come out and fire. He's going to bet 700 here into a pot that's about 800. Hey, look at this. Ron check raises all in here with kings. Well, if Adam had a flush or a straight or something else, he'd get paid off. I think Adam's going to fold here.
Now Ron correctly induced a bluff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, now he's check raised them all in.
Yeah.
And you're only going to get called by a flush. I mean, you're probably not going to get called by the ace-jack or the king-jack or a queen-jack.
So $1,400 pot plus the all-in, which is another, I'd say 1,500 or so.
Yeah, and Adam's got literally, what does he have? 4, 8. He's got 10 outs to the river.
Yeah.
He can catch a 3, an ace, or a 6. He doesn't have to worry about a club because Ron does not have a club in his hand.
So it's about 1,000 here, the check raise, and the pot is about 2,400, 1,000 for Adam.
I mean, real dangerous actually check on the turn there by Ron. I mean, you think about it. Let's say you have ace-jack or king-jack with the king of clubs.
Yeah.
Might you just take the free card?
I gotta tell you, I mean, I was telling you about a hand that I played over at Commerce, I think it was last Friday, where I actually made my hand on the turn and I checked it. And sometimes when you try to get fancy and check raise, it actually hurts your hand because you get less information. This is a little different because Ron is check raised all in.
Yeah, well, he's put Adam to the test. Well, I mean, Adam's only got 3s here. It's really just a math question.
I mean, he's getting
The problem is he could be drawing dead to a flush.
Yeah, he's getting 2.5 to 1. He doesn't know if a club comes. He doesn't have the 3 of clubs. 3 of club comes, he might not be good. The ace, the 6, if they're clubs, it might not be good.
Well, he could be drawing dead right now. He doesn't even know that.
And he makes the call, and this is going to be over a $3,500 pot. Here we go to the river. And there's a 6,
man.
Dave. He rivers Ron with a pair of 3s, and he makes the straight.
Oh, I got it straight.
Wow. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Welcome to Live at the Bike.
Oh,
there
man.
for Ron.
I tell you, that's a tough play there. And I got to tell you, I mean, the only thing there, I'm talking about, obviously, it's a bad beat. He got Adam to put his money in with the worst hand there. Adam only had 10 outs.
Yeah.
But he really played it somewhat dangerous there because, first of all, generally, if you're moving in there with kings against a rational player, you're only going to get called if you're beat.
Right. I mean, if you're a rational player and say you bet there figuring the guy made a continuation bet with something like ace-king, and now you flop the jack, say you call with ace-jack suited or king-jack suited, now you bet the turn and check raises all in. I guess there's a chance he might do it with a couple of overcards with a nut flush draw, but usually that means that you're beating that spot.
That actually usually means real strength. When somebody bets to you, then checks it and check raises you all in, shows a lot of strength, and I would easily throw away ace-jack or king-jack. And if I had ace-jack with the ace of clubs or king-jack with the king of clubs, I might even take the free card because there aren't many cards I'm scared of because I have an overcard with my jack.
Raise here.
Plus I have the club.
Raise here by Mark to 100 with pocket queens. Nothing like starting off the night with a bad beat.
Yeah.
And Ron, I think, is going to buy in for, going to rebuy for maybe 2,000.
And Adam can be dangerous if he's got a lot of chips. And the more chips he gets, the more dangerous he'll be. Nothing like putting your money in with being a 4-to-1 dog and sucking out.
Mark takes it down there without a flop. As always, we like to keep this show interactive. You can email us at liveatthebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions. You can also follow a live thread started on 2+2, 2plus2.com, spelled out. Click on forums, World Poker Tour, etc. Check out our MySpace page. You can say, add us as one of your friends, or, you know, write a comment, say hello. Button's going to move over here to
people
Paul.
still Skype us?
You can also Skype us, yes. You can. Limp in here by seat number 2, Max with an ace-jack offsuit. And it's going to get limped around here. And Allen is going to raise here to 60, Dave, with queen 10 offsuit. I never understand this play. He's going to raise it out in the worst position with a hand that is very hard to play multi-way. And look at this. Max is pulling the limp re-raise with ace-jack offsuit. Well, you know, when we were talking before the show, Dave, we were talking about, well, I don't know if this show is going to be great. Players seem to be a little bit weak tight. Look at some of the action we've seen so far. The limp re-raise with ace-jack, raising a guy who's raised out of the big blind. And Allen lays queen 10 up.
You don't understand how bitter I am that I'm not in this game right now. This is all your fault.
No, what I was saying was that if we're going to play in the game, we like to try to, promote it up a little bit.
Okay, let's promote it. You could have promoted it.
Yeah. I was bitter that you were going to be in the game and I wasn't.
I offered you the spot first.
Yeah, but then you gave me like kind of a sunken dog-like look.
That's just me. I have a sunken dog-like face. First thing I said to you was, Bart, would you like to play? You said no. I go, okay, I'll play.
Did you run it by our producer?
Evelyn seemed to have no problem. She was actually joking around with me. She goes, you're dying to play, aren't you? And I go, well, she goes, you probably called all the regulars and told them the casino was closed. Can you imagine me calling like Alan and Barry Woods, in like a mirror and going, yeah, the casino is closed today. Don't come.
It's closed because of the rain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
National holiday.
Limped around here 3 ways. So it's going to be a $60 pot. King Jack Deuce here. Well, it's missed everyone. Looks like this one's going to get checked around. Oh, wait a minute. Sean here is going to bet with Queen High as a bluff.
100.
He's going to bet 100, and I don't think anyone's going to call here. Everyone's missed.
I mean, this is actually a game where it's not even like tricky, hard, tight.
It doesn't appear to be.
This is just a game you dream about. You know what I mean?
I mean, Adam, he has absolutely nothing, and he hasn't folded yet.
I mean, this is the kind of game that I call my wife and I go, I'll be here late. How late?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't. Maybe Adam doesn't know it's his turn. Oh, okay. All right,
there you go. On a more solemn note, I want to send my condolences out to Puggy Pearson's family. Died a couple days ago. And it was interesting. Jay Siegel actually gave us those DVDs of the old World Series.
Yeah.
And I dropped my wife up at the airport today, and I sat on my couch and I watched the 1973 World Series, the 78 World Series, and a bunch of the old ones, and one that Puggy Pearson had won versus Johnny Moss when he was heads up. And it's really interesting to see him play. He was such a character, Puggy Pearson.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, the way he would talk and just ride people.
I interviewed him last World Series during the main event.
Really, really a character of the game, and my condolences out to his family.
It looked like that, I think it might have been a straddled pot here by Max. It was. So that was 40 to call. It gets limped around 4 ways, so it's a $160 pot. 10-8-7 here with a couple of clubs. A couple of people have 10s here, 10-6 and 10-5. Weak top pairs, and it gets checked around. Turn here is a 9, and now Adam has a straight.
What a scary board there, huh?
Yeah. Double suited board.
I mean, I gotta tell you, Adam's straight, his straight is somewhat garbage here. If he gets any action at all, you gotta be scared. You know what I mean? He's got the jack. He doesn't have the queen. He doesn't have clubs. He doesn't have spades.
He bets 400 into a $160 pot there, and he takes it down. Wow. Unbelievable. I mean, those are the types of boards. Actually, not necessarily this board, because, kind of a queen jack beats a jack, but I was actually in a hand yesterday, Dave, where I had the ace, and it was a 4-card Broadway straight on board. Right. But there was a 2 flush on either side.
Yeah.
If you have an ace and you're rolling on one side of that, you might actually check raise big, get somebody to bet out in field.
Oh, yeah.
Because, do they recognize the fact that their ace is garbage? Yeah, you have the nuts now, but are you going to commit when you know you can only chop the pot, right?
Right. Well, we always talk about you don't really want to commit a lot of chips into a small pot when you're hoping for a chop at best.
3-way action here, limped around. Queen, Jack, 7 here, rainbow.
Seat number 4, Adam's got the queen.
Now, Russ is going to come out and bet with ace-7. He bet 70. And Adam's going to call. Russ has, kind of opened his game off a little bit over the last few months.
Yes. Problem with betting into the betting into Adam is you never really know where you're at.
Right.
I got to tell you, if I'm in this game, I really want to be to Adam's left.
Russ is going to bet 150 here, and Adam quickly calls. And at this point against Russ, I might have released Queen 8. I probably wouldn't have been playing it from there, but here we go to the river. The river's king.
And you wonder if Russ puts out a nice hefty bet here. Can he take it down? But he's going to check, I think.
I mean, that king might be used as a scare card if you think Adam has a weak
Definitely.
Queen.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's just going to get given up.
Well, Adam's not going to. It's clearly a check for Adam, right?
I think if Russ fires there, a good bet on the river, I don't know how Adam can call. But then again, Adam makes a lot of calls where, you're left scratching your head.
Yeah, I'm not scratching your head. Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen, and you're watching No Limit Hold'em Friday style. 10 20 blinds, no limit hold'em, $1,000 minimum buy-in, no max. And this game should be good all night long. We've got a big tournament. We had a $50,000 guaranteed tournament tonight, and $50,000 guaranteed was nothing because the prize pool is over $100K. We had 358 entries, 665 rebuys, prize pool of $102,000. First place is almost $40,000. Not a bad way to parlay $100, huh?
No. Looks like seat number 6 doubled the blind. He made it 40 to go with ace, queen, and diamonds. Well, actually, it was a straddle pot by Adam, so it was just limped around 4 ways. And straddle double the size of the big
that's
blind.
David there.
Yeah, it's the option. Well, David has hit top pair here with ace, queen.
It's not a great flop for ace, queen, and diamonds, but he's actually not in bad shape at all. Nobody out there has anything.
But look at this. Adam calls with bottom pair here, deuce 8. David bet little weak, and Adam called, turns a queen, and now...
Might you check this and induce a bluff?
Well, he's going to bet 200. There is a 2 spades out there, possibility of a Broadway straight. Yeah. $100 bet here and a $200 bet. Against a guy like Adam, you might even want to bet weak, so you hope to get check raised, and that's what's going to happen, as opposed to checking, maybe scaring yourself on the river when a scary card comes. He's going to raise it up to 400 here.
And might you just call this then? Would you just call this here? I mean, is there any value to raising it? Because if he's got a queen, he's going to bet the river, right? And you can raise him then if you want to.
And he makes the call, and we've got a pot of about $1,500 going to the river. Here we go to the river. The river's a 6.
And this is the question now. What is Adam going to do? He's out of position. He's got to bet first. Well,
I think Adam checked it, and Dave's going to bet 400 now. 400 into about a $1,600 pot. I mean, that is almost begging for a call. The river was the 6 of clubs.
Yeah, inconsequential 6 of clubs there on the river. And he calls him.
Wow, he called him with bottom pair. Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, the board was draw heavy, and maybe he figured, this guy doesn't have a queen. There's 2 queens out there. This guy's got spades. This guy's got spades. And sometimes you get so stubborn, you just put somebody on a hand that you go, no, I know this guy's got spades. And you just convince yourself to call.
Yeah. Button's going to move over here to seat 2. Now, SB Surfing Michael, is a friend alive of the bike, and he posts up on 2+2. And the opening post, I'm praying for a decent feed tonight. Well, that's great advertising, Mike. I mean, no one else is having a problem, and you are, and let's everybody know.
I got to tell you, I love Michael, and I love Jeff Klein. The 2 of those guys, go buy a new computer, man. Seriously.
Limp here. 4-way action. Remember, brown chips are $10 chips, whites are hundreds. Here we go to the flop. Ace 7-3. Seat 8 limped in with an ace 10. That's Allen.
That's Allen?
That's
Allen, yeah.
You bet 70 here.
I got so confused.
Now, is Adam going to make the call with a gut shot? And the answer is yes.
I mean, the one thing with Adam is he's dangerous is you really never know what this guy has.
Turns a 4. He picks up a pair with his gut shot.
And the only thing with Adam is when the deck hits him in the face and he starts catching and he gets lucky, it's hard to get away from hands because he bluffs a lot. He's kind of like Corporation Mike, say 6 months ago.
$250 bet here by Allen on the turn. And Adam's going to call, and this is probably
4, 5, or 6.
Yep, here we go to the river. The river's at 10. Well, I was going to say Allen probably would check behind, but I assume he's going to bet with aces up now.
Definite bet there.
Yeah.
10 of spades in the river. It's a clear bet. There's no straight out there. You're not really scared of 5, 6, are you?
Yeah, he bets and Adam folds.
Yeah.
Adam would have made it on the turn. I don't think he would have checked the turn and then checked the river the way that hand played out.
No.
Allen is actually, I think, an orthopedic surgeon, I want to say, or an orthopedic doctor. I don't know if there's a difference. Or are all orthopedic doctors orthopedic surgeons?
Orthopedic, that's like a sports doctor, right? I mean, I guess you could be a sports doctor without being a sports doctor.
Yeah, it's not necessarily. I mean, I think he said he does a lot with sports. I had a discussion with him last week.
Yeah, he must have surgery. He must be able to do surgery then.
Yeah.
Torn ACLs and so forth. chip count
Actually,
now.
you know what? I want to take this chip down for a second here. I'm sorry about that, Ray, because I see two big hands, queens and kings, and tens.
That's what we get. That's what we like to do here at Live.
Yeah.
Like, keep it flexible, man.
We get a raise here by seat number 9 with kings. Hollywood Russ has tens on the button. He calls, and Adam has queens. And this might be a time where Ron might get back at Adam.
Yeah, this might be a little sweet revenge.
Yep. And Adam's trying to figure out what to do. His $120 raise, and he's going to re-raise here. He's announced it. He's put the chips in.
Now, this is an interesting spot. Now, when he re-raises and it comes back to Ron, now Ron's got a choice here. Do I re-raise him, or do I just smooth call? Now, oftentimes with aces, you can smooth call. Sometimes with kings, you don't want to scare yourself.
Well, you also have to take into account that Russ smooth called your raise, but Adam makes it 700 more, and I think that you don't need to worry about Russ calling here.
That's the whole point, right? I figured you wouldn't have to worry here.
Yeah. So it's a $1,000 pot, 700 here for Ron to call. But Ron is not that deep, so he might not necessarily be able to finagle it all that
I
much.
gotta tell you, I mean, you can call this and then just, you're basically pot committed, but at this point, you've got to realize that he's only got about, I want to say $1,800, $1,900. If you raise all in, Adam is pot committed. I don't think Adam's going to go anywhere here. Now, if you were both deeper, you might want to play it a little bit different.
So I think that you probably do just push here.
I think so.
Because he's not that deep.
And if Adam's got aces, he's got aces.
And there's no way that Adam, I mean, we know Adam, like the guy, he plays a little reckless, just like Mike probably wouldn't lay down queens 6 months ago. Maybe he does now. I don't think Adam's going to lay down queens here.
And here goes. Ron moves all in here.
Yeah.
And I think this is the play here. I just don't think Adam can get away from this.
I mean, this should probably be a relatively easy laydown, I think, pre-flop here with queens.
Yeah, the problem is, now this is the question to you. This is the only question I can throw at you.
Dead money in the pot, right?
Well, the pot is now 7, 8, 9. It's another 1,200.
It's a $2,200 pot, and it's another $1,200 to call.
It's actually more than 1,200. It's a $3,400 pot, 1,200 to call.
No, it was a $1,000 pot, and now Ron has moved in for $1,200. So it's $2,200, $1,200.
What about the 700 from Adam and the 700 from the call, though?
Is it 1,200 total?
1,200 more.
1,200 more.
1,200 more.
Okay, so another 700. So 2,900, 1,200 to call.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. We were in between
right,
there.
There you go.
So he's getting about 2.5 to 1.
And that's the only question now. Now, would Ron make this move with Ace King?
He's getting 2.5 to 1. And obviously, if he had any other hand besides aces or kings, you call with queens. But if you're against kings or aces here,
then if you know you have aces or kings, you can't call this.
Right. And he
But
makes the
he's gonna
call.
call.
Oh boy.
And I got to tell you, if queens come,
Well, they might run it multiple times here. I think they're going to run the whole board here 3 times, Dave.
yeah.
And this is going to be about a $4,000 pot here to the flop. And the pot's going to be chopped into 3, turns an 8. So Ron's going to win the first one.
There you go.
There we go to the flop.
There's the king.
Well, Adam's got a straight draw to the 10 here. Turns a jack.
That's it. He's drawing
That's
dead.
it. River's a 7. So Ron wins the second one here.
And
Well, just dodge a queen here. He's going to win all 3.
all
Yep.
3.
All 3.
There you go. Revenge is sweet for Ron here, and he doubles up.
$4,000 pot there.
Yep. And I got to tell you, the more you think about it, and obviously it's easy for us in the booth, but even getting 2.5 to 1 there, do you really think this guy's going to move all in with Ace King? I mean, I guess he could.
Well, again, you kind of I always forget that word, that term, that structured hand analysis. Dan Harrington always puts in his book. You got to look at it like, if you're getting 2.5 to 1, what is the minimum percentage of the time this guy could be doing this with Ace King for me to make this call? And I think it probably falls somewhere between, I want to say maybe 20 to 30%, maybe a little less than that. So
Well, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you go, okay, he definitely does aces, kings, or Ace King.
Yeah.
You go, okay, let's just say, for example, he has aces 1/3 of the time, kings 1/3 of the time, and Ace King 1/3 of the time.
Right.
Well, getting 2.5 to 1, do you call there or not?
Because you got to remember, 2 out of those 3 times, you're a 4 to 1 dog.
And then the other time,
It's almost about 50-50. So you got to multiply all that out. It's almost like a little algebra.
Sure, yeah, it's just a math problem.
Yeah. Eric Wardenberg emailed us. He said, I want to see Adam and Jesus go heads up in this game.
How about Adam and Mike going heads up?
Yeah. Got a little limp here by
How about
Allen.
Adam and me going heads up? That's what we need to see.
Limped around here. Four-way action. King 3 deuce with a couple of diamonds, and Adam's flopped the flush right now. Allen didn't raise with ace king. He's hit top pair and he bets.
Yeah, this is the problem with ace king. I just don't like it. I don't like not raising with ace king. You just have no idea where you're at. Adam does a little mini raise.
Yeah, he does. Now, against a tough player, like if Paul mini raises me here on this board, and especially if I raise with ace king, boy, it's almost like, check call out of position. It's tough. But I don't think Allen gives Adam that much credit.
Alan's
He's
going to
come
re-raise
over
it,
the top. Yeah, he re-raises. He re-raises the 200, and Adam beats him in the pot here. And once again, we've got about a $700 pot here going into the turn. Turns a diamond. And now Allen can't beat king queen, and he can't beat a flush.
And Allen's probably going to
still fire.
He's going to put a little blocker bet in there and see if that's good. And when he gets raised, he'll probably throw it away. If you're Adam here, do you just call or do you raise it up?
Well, I don't think that Allen has that much. I think Allen is pretty much pot committed himself. He's bet 500 on the turn. That's 500 to a $700 pot. That's not really a blocker bet. Well, he's got about 1,400 left, so it's about a $1,200 pot, 500 to call. And let's see what Adam's going to do here. And Adam's not that deep either. I mean, Adam only has...
But look how anxious he is to put his chips in the pot.
And he moves all in.
I mean, you see how he wanted to right away? And then he kind of stopped himself and said, wait a second, can I get more money out of this guy?
Now, the thing here is that 500 is going to be taken out of Adam's stack that he just pushed in. So they take 500 out. Let's see how much more it is.
I think it's an easy laydown for Allen, I got to tell you.
Really? Even against Adam?
Yeah, even against Adam, I got to tell you. I mean, he could be tilting, but...
You don't think Adam could be doing this with
I have no
king?
redraw.
You don't think Adam could be doing this with king, with a rag diamond or something like that?
King, jack diamonds? King with a jack of diamonds?
That's what I'm saying. We're going to figure out the pot here.
I guess.
It's 1,000 more we're getting word. So the pot is about 2,700, 1,000 to call.
Like I always say, I mean, it's easy for us in the booth, Maybe I would call, but, I mean, I hate that spot, though. You didn't raise with ace-king. You have no idea where you're at. I mean, couldn't Adam have a set here? I mean, I just don't like putting money in when I'm drawing dead. I like to have an out.
Right.
I like to have something.
Like the ace of diamonds king.
I always want, I mean, Doyle Brunson talks about having, like, an escape hatch.
Right.
So if you do call, you've got at least one or two outs. This guy, I mean, very easy for me to be drawing dead here.
Actually, the funny thing is, if he did raise it pre-flop, the hand probably would have played out in exactly the same manner, because I think Adam calls on the button.
No, I don't doubt that, but, it wasn't a raised pot, though. Adam could have anything, and Mama always said, don't go broke in an unraised pot.
Especially with one pair and 3 diamonds out there.
I mean, look at the boards. What is ace-king there?
Well, again, it's against Adam.
It's only a bluff catcher, though, right? That's all it is.
Exactly. We've seen Adam bluff 2 or 3 times already tonight. So
I know.
it's...
But can't you pick a bet? Like, I mean, I was playing with Dimitri the other night, right?
Yeah.
And Dimitri likes to bluff, say, 1 out of 3 or 4 hands. But you want to pick your spots. I don't want to get my money in where I think I might get 3 or 4% edge.
Right.
I can pick a better spot. And if I throw my hand away here, Adam will bluff later. He'll I know he will. It's only 15 minutes into the show. Adam's not going anywhere. His chips aren't going anywhere.
Wait, no, he threw a $500 bet in the turn, Allen did, and that might give him the information to get away from the hand. It was a pretty big bet. He gets away from it, it's a nice laydown. As opposed to, say, checking and then maybe giving Adam the initiative to, say, move all in on the
it's
turn.
not exactly. It's not like he induced the bluff.
Right. Wow. What a hand.
Sounds really good or really bad?
Great question here from Omaha Larry in San Diego that we'll get to in just a minute.
Yeah, because we're going to do the first chip count of the night here.
Let's do it.
There it is. Over $20,000 on the table. Now, Paul hasn't played a hand. He's got the table covered. Let's take a look at the differences from the beginning point. Game just started right before the show started. Mark in seat 1 up $1,000. And that was actually a hand right before we started. And Ron is just about even.
Yeah, well, Ron, he doubled up and he lost his first buy-in, so there you go. He's even. And Adam is, I mean, I think he's been up $2,500, down $1,500, and now he's up $500.
Yeah.
And that'll happen all night. Hey, so here's a question here from Omaha Larry. Hey, Bart, what's the best way to play ace-jack or ace-queen under the gun and no-limit hold'em? Well, ace-jack, how about folding?
Ace-jack offsuit, I have no problem folding under the gun.
An ace-queen under the gun? Yeah. Very carefully. It really depends on the game you're playing at. If it's a really tough game, you can lay them both down under the gun.
It was checked around on the flop. The turn was checked. Adams bet 80 here with a pair of threes, but David flopped trip sevens and he checked the turn. And as you can see, he's got the best hand here. And against Adam,
Adam can't control himself, though.
He is just going to call. He might just check call the whole way here. I don't know. I mean, against Adam, river's a 10. Oh, it's a third diamond. I think Adam's going to, yeah, it just goes check, check. I really don't have a problem with playing 7 deuce in that manner when you hit trip sevens.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you fire back at the guy and then the guy moves all in on you, what do you do then?
Well, that's an interesting question. Ace jack suited, ace queen suited.
Doesn't it depend on the game you're playing in?
Depends on the game they're playing. Exactly. I mean, it's all dependent. More than not, I usually raise, but it's not uncommon for you or I think, to limp in sometimes in that spot, right? I mean, again, it depends.
I mean, I guess I have limped in with ace jack or ace queen.
Yeah.
And I will do it occasionally, but more often than not, I'm either laying it down or raising with it. It's not a hand, especially if it's suited. I can limp in with it.
Well, that's what I was actually talking about.
Yeah, suited. I can limp in with it.
So you're saying ace queen offsuit, you're usually going to raise
or fold.
Yeah.
If it's a real tough game,
yeah,
I don't want to play that hand out of position. Because if I get called by a tough player and I flop an ace, I really don't know where I'm at, because a lot of really good players will just call you or raise with ace king.
They also might outplay you, especially if the board is draw heavy, represent things that they don't have.
Yeah, it's just a tough hand to play, ace queen.
Yeah.
No limit, you can really pick your spots. I'm always looking for excuses not to play hands out of position. I know you are as well.
5-way action here, limped around. 10-5-7 here now, seat number 6. That's the seasoned pro, we like to call him Paul. He's got ace-10 on the button. It gets checked to him, and he's going to bet. Now, I want to see if David just throws this away here in seat 7. Seems like a smart guy from what I've seen. He's got 6-10. He easily gets away after Paul bets. And that hand is really garbage with multi-way action there. Paul bet about a pot-sized bet here, and he's going to take it down.
Take it down, Paul.
Nice 10 is actually an interesting hand there on the button. I might bring that one in for a raise as well. Paul decided just to limp in there on the button. Like the ace-10s, the ace-jacks on the button, limped around.
Yeah, I think Paul might play this game, this kind of table, real...
just straightforward.
Yeah, real straightforward, and kind of just wait for a big hand. Wait to flop 2 pair, wait to flop a straight, something like that, where he can win a big pot and really put his money in there and get paid off. Capitalize on somebody else's mistake. It's funny, when I first saw the lineup, I thought maybe you could push it. Dave's got pocket aces.
Yeah.
You could really actually play against this tight, weak lineup, but it's nothing like tight, weak. This is more like kind of wait and pick a spot.
Look at this. Adam raised to 90 with 9-3 of clubs. I was wondering if David might smooth call and trap out on the button, but Paul's in between, so he re-raises here, and he's going to take it down. If Adam raises there and gets folded to David, he might make the call on the button, especially with a couple tight guys in the blinds, right?
No, definitely.
Just keep letting him bet at the pot, maybe lead at the pot a couple times.
Well, yeah, if he's on a bluff, why not? Sometimes you might even put a little mini raise in there and price him in.
Yeah.
But you get a little more money. At the same time, you're building up the pot. Give Adam credit, though. I mean, he'll raise with some questionable hands, but he is paying attention to the players he's playing against, and he doesn't want to give David action there, so he just throws it away.
Nice email here from Denmark.
Yeah.
Renee Nielsen.
Nielsen?
Nielsen. As in Nielsen.
Oh, as in Leslie, right. Yeah.
Wow, Adam's got pocket jacks, and he just limps in here. Now, jacks are a little different from aces and kings. I never understand why Corporation Mike limps in with aces when he's raising every other hand. Jacks are a little bit different.
Adam does a little bit of the same, though. He plays a little bit backwards also sometimes.
4-way action here. Ace-6 deuce, and ace-10 of diamonds over here for David.
Okay, he's got the best hand. He's also got a backdoor diamond draw.
Adam's going to throw a little tester bet. He bets 50. And I believe that David here is just going to make the call. We're heads up. Turns at 3.
And Adam's in bad shape here. Check, check.
Check, and the river's a 3.
And I got to tell you, if you're David, you put a little value bet on the river. I think you have to.
Well, now Adam bets. Adam bets the river, and David immediately calls. And the ace is good.
It's not a bad spot. I mean, if Adam had checked to me, I probably would have bet about 150 there.
On the river.
Yeah. Interesting email here from Raymond Clark, who says, hey man, about those World Series of Poker DVDs that I was talking about, are they available for purchase or are they just for my personal collection? Actually, one of our fans, Jay Siegel.
Yeah, the Potato Man.
The Potato Man, exactly. Pojato. Lent them to us.
Yes, he did.
So they're his. But hey, for enough money, I'll sell them. I'll just tell Jay I lost them.
Look at this response by SP Surf and Michael. Eat me. There you go.
Tempting, Michael. Really tempting. Pocket Kings for Hollywood.
140.
And Hollywood is in the
Ooh, and
big
Paul's
blind.
raised it up to 140 with 4-3 of hearts.
Yep. And look at this. Russ just calls him, and Adam calls him.
Russ loves to play slow play hands.
You know, I might re-raise there just to get Adam out of the pot. Here we go to the flop. Queen 4-5. Let's see how Russ plays this one, Dave. He checks.
And I'm sure Paul will throw a little continuation bet in there. Russ will probably check raise and the hand will be over.
330.
330 here from Paul.
And I think right now Russ needs to make it about 800.
Let me again. You know,
go ahead.
I always, reach for things.
Reach.
If Paul's raising a lot with aces, kings, queens, or jacks, he can be ahead here with two hands, aces or a set of queens here, right?
Well, I'm going to find out where I'm at, though.
Yeah.
What am I just going to check and call the entire way?
He's going to check raise here.
700.
He's going to make it 700. I think Paul's easily going to lay this hand down.
I mean, Paul's a very solid player, but I can't give him credit for aces or queens every single time he plays. I got to find out where I'm at. And you know what? If he has aces, maybe I can get him up. Maybe he'll think I have queens. You never know.
Paul's saying that you're doing this on a draw. That is not normal, Russ.
No, although Russ did do that against Kevin the other night.
Yeah, one small pair. If you want to move all in with it, I will if you're on a draw.
Did he say you have a small pair or a small penis? Which one did he say?
Paul said he had a small pair.
Oh, okay. He kind of like did that little, like shrunk his little finger.
And again, the thing with Russ is he usually will show his good hands, which is always nice. And obviously, I think Paul knows that it's a good lay down anyway, so he wants to show him things.
In fact, there were mostly overcards on the board.
Pardon?
There were mostly overcards on the board.
Button's going to move over here to seat number one.
Nice to see a new poster over on the 2+2 board.
Yep.
We got, I think his name is Tef.
Good, let's go.
Welcome aboard.
A little apprehensive about letting
We webcast live cash games every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Wednesdays and Fridays are our big games. We also do limit hold'em on Mondays. Usually we start doing pot limit hold'em on Thursdays.
Oh, pocket queens here on the button.
For Mark, and we haven't heard from him all day, have we?
Now, Allen makes it 100 to go with ace, jack, of diamonds, one off the cutoff, and see how Mark's going to play the button here with queens.
Now, Mark plays it pretty ABC. The only thing with Mark is he kind of overvalues, say, ace, jack, king, queen, hands like that. That's what I saw from his ace.
And he's going to re-raise here.
But usually if he's in there, he's got a big pocket pair or some sort of Broadway connection.
He makes it 250 total, kind of a little mini raise. It is a mini raise. It's actually just about the minimum.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know what? If a guy is going to raise the minimum and I have ace, jack of diamonds, I'm now getting 3-1 on my money. I might call.
You just hope that maybe he isn't doing that little mini raise with ace, king.
If he's doing with ace, king, maybe I flop a jack. Maybe I flop diamonds. I mean, he's just asking me to call. Depends how much money I have, obviously. I don't know if he has enough money to make this call, but if I'm deep enough and a guy is going to mini raise there, I'm going, hey, now you're giving me like 3-1, maybe even 3.5 to 1 with the blinds. Okay, I'll take a shot at the flop.
Well, Allen calls, and here we go to the flop. And there's the ace. Now it's a 3 flush. Now Mark has the queen of hearts in his hand.
Now, this is the only problem with Allen's hand now. He's out of position. He doesn't know where he's at. But he looks like he's going to pot commit himself here with this bet.
I think he is. And at this point, if he does pretty much pot and commit himself, Mark has to know that he does not have any fold equity here. I mean, Mark would only be ahead if he's doing this with the king of hearts only. It smells like either an ace or the king of hearts here,
now,
right?
it can become a math problem still, though. If you put the guy on, say, ace-queen, or ace-king, or, say, ace-jack, without a heart, because he is betting pretty strong as if he was scared of the hearts. And you then say, okay, well, I can catch a queen to win the hand, or I can catch a heart to win this hand. You can look at it and go, well, I have 9 outs plus 2. I have 11 outs. Can I call? Is the pot laying me enough odds?
and Mark gets away from it. It was a $1,000 pot, 500 to call, and it looked like Alan had another 600 or 700. You know, I don't necessarily mind that laydown. I think that Mark knew that he was beat.
No, I don't mind it either. I'm just, you know, if you start going to the next level and you start thinking about it, instead of just going, well, I have queens, there's an ace in the flop, I'm going to automatically throw it away.
You know, you were talking about that mini raise earlier, Dave. And, you know, I agree with you. The only problem there is you're out of position. But I love people when I raise, say, in late position, and they mini raise me out of the bind. I mean, you can almost call it any 2 cards in position there. Especially when you're deep.
You guys giving me 3.5 to 1 on my money.
Right.
How often am I more than a 3.5 to 1 dog? You know? It just doesn't happen that much. Ace King for seat 2 Max. We haven't really seen much out of Max yet. And he's got Big Slick on the button. And he's going to raise it up.
Raise. 120. 100 more.
Makes it 100 to go. And look at this. Adam calls him with a suited ace. Let's see if an ace comes out here. Wow. Flush draw. Nut flush draw for Adam here. And Max has missed. Adam checks and Max makes a $300 continuation bet.
400.
$400. And again, when a player like Adam either calls you or check raises you, you sometimes don't know. And Adam is going to check raise.
And you can see this. They're pretty much even money. Look at that. 49-49.
Yeah.
Max is ahead, but Adam can catch 7. He can catch a club. Or he can catch kind of running straight cards.
And Adam moves all in.
Raise all in.
And look at this. I think that Max called him
He did.
without a second thought.
And we've got a coin flip here, folks.
And this is a coin flip for about, I want to say, maybe a $3,000 pot. Wow. This is basically 50-50 here for about $3,000. Are they going to run it?
50-50. Look at this.
Are they going to run it multiple times here?
They have a 2% chance of chopping the pot. And that would be if the board pairs twice, like a jack and an 8 or a jack and a 6. Or obviously, you get it. Stop me when you.
They're going to run it one
understand.
time.
One time only. Max is gambling.
So here we go.
Who are we rooting for?
Let's see the turn. Turn.
Oh!
Max needs only an offsuit king here, and the river's a queen. Once
And
that
Adam takes it
7,
down.
once that 7 came, Max only had 2 outs to the win,
Yeah.
right? Yep.
And these guys, that's literally a coin flip for $3,000, right?
Yep.
3,500, 3,500.
And that's, again, when you say, I mean, that hand kind of reminds me a little bit about the David Kelsey hand. I mean, if you have Ace King there and Adam is check raising you, yeah, so what if he has just a club draw? Especially if he doesn't have an ace, you're putting all your money in hoping that it's like 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
it's
thing.
50-50.
You know, it's an interesting post here by Eastern Bloc, and I'm going to read it because it really pertains to this hand and the hand we just saw earlier. Eastern Bloc says, hey, Tuck, I'm going to quote Tuck here. Adam's not going anywhere. Adam's not going anywhere. His chips aren't going anywhere.
Right.
And then Eastern Bloc responds, Adam might not be going anywhere, but I bet his chips are going lots of places tonight. And my point was, and you see it in the hand right there, is oftentimes if we're playing with a player that seems live, that's giving us a lot of action. Well, when we get into an opportunity with them to win all their chips, oftentimes we jump at that opportunity, like David Kelsey did with Frank Mariani, or like in this case Max did with Adam, or like Alan almost did with Ace King against Adam. And you've got to realize you've got to pick your spots. And tonight might not be your night against Adam. You don't want to really put yourself in a spot where you're 50-50 though, do you?
$80 raise here by Allen with pocket 10s. Look at this. Ace, queen of spades and king, jack of spades in hand. And Paul's in there with jack 6. Wow.
Is it a raised pot?
Yeah, he limped in with jack 6.
Wait, he limped in under the gun with jack 6?
You did indeed.
Wow, that's a...
Now, Allen is going to make a little continuation bet here, and this is sometimes a real tough spot for Russ. It's kind of a weak bet, though. I mean, he's betting about $100 into a $400 pot, and Russ is going to raise. He senses that out with ace-queen. But, you know, you get into a flop like that where you call the raise with ace-queen.
Nice bet by Russ here.
Nice
Really
raise.
nice. Yeah, I mean, that's something he would not have done 4 or 5 months ago. He would have just called that weak-ass bet.
Right.
And here he kind of smelled it out. He doesn't want somebody pricing in their draw. Let's say the guy was betting 8-9 or betting hearts. He's going to make him pay for it.
Getting more aggressive.
And even said here, you're getting more aggressive.
And Russ will probably show him the ace. And he'll make him
That's
feel
a
better.
nice play by Russ. Really nice play. Don't show. He doesn't show.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, now you do.
There he shows. I got to tell you, Paul limping in under the gun.
Wow, that was, yeah.
When a player like that limps in under the gun, I put him on minimum of like ace-jack, ace-queen, king-queen, some sort of real hand, right?
Dave, look who's coming into seat 2. Coco.
Coco Crisp.
There he is. Coco's normally a limit player. Dave and I have a lot of experience with him in the 20 limit games from years ago. I don't really know how he's going to adjust this game. He always prides himself on being uber tight, which isn't obviously necessarily the best strategy in no limit, because no limit is more of a post-flop game than limit is a pre-flop game.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to watch.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't imagine him playing that many hands.
Yeah. You know, I wonder if he makes the common mistakes that some limit players make, where he might not know enough to, what to bet. He might be raising with top pair regardless of the kicker, regardless of the situation, where it's kind of an automatic move in limit.
I would imagine Coco, knowing Coco, he might actually bet too little. You know what I mean? Might flop a hand and the pot's $400 and he bets 80.
Look at this. Paul here is going to raise out of the blind with ace-jack offsuit. He's trying to change it up here. Adam calls with 7 deuce of diamonds, and Helen is in there with pocket 7s. Oh, here we go to the flop. You wonder if Paul can follow up here, if he'll take it down.
I can't imagine. I mean, Paul's got a pretty tight image. I don't think Alan's going to call him with 7s, especially with Adam behind him.
Paul bets 250 here.
Well, what do I know? Now, we did see Alan the other night. He doesn't look like the type of player that would be capable of a big bluff, but you can't judge a book by its cover, because he made a great bluff earlier, and look what he's thinking about it here.
Again, he does have a player behind him.
So much easier heads up here.
In position, yeah.
Yeah.
Gets away from it.
He's going to throw it away. He thought about it, though.
And is Adam going to make a move? Adam's going to raise here. Wow. He's going to raise with 7 deuce of diamonds. And Paul doesn't have anything here. I mean, it would be an unbelievable re-steal if Paul would have re-raised, but again, you talk about picking your spots, Dave.
Well, I mean, you certainly don't want to call this. You're going to re-raise or throw it away, and Paul's going to just throw it away, pick a better spot.
I just wonder, a play like that by Adam, that's the one time where I've ever actually seen Paul actually raise with a hand like ace-jack. He's trying to mix it up here a little bit in the blind, but I got to think, you got to think if you're Adam, you would pick your spots better as well to bluff, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think somebody's raising out of the blind with a pocket pair, and he's raising with jacks or 10s, maybe you could scare him off with the queen.
Turn card actually would have been the case 7.
I think my pocket's better than yours.
And I think Coco is buying in for the minimum, Dave, so he might not necessarily have, a lot of times you buy in short and it's not really a problem of how much to bet, because you're pretty much commit yourself with any hand that you go in with.
You wonder.
Right.
The funny thing with Coco is he used to play limit hold'em all the time with him, and not only would he play really tight, but he would always criticize people. Always criticize people. He's like, you called at that?
3-way action here.
He took pride in showing his big laydowns too, didn't he?
King, deuce, deuce. I remember he was on the show one time, and he would just check top pair the whole way from up front. Out of position. Like he had ace-king. He would check call.
Yeah.
Turns at 10. Checked around.
Ace high still good here?
Yeah. David's going to win if we don't see a bet.
Adam's not going to let this go, is he? Wow, he is.
Let it go, you mean there's no bet?
I can't believe Adam didn't bet.
Oh.
Adam actually let it go. Hello?
Hello? That's somebody's phone, right by our microphone. Butt moves over here to seat 6.
Oh, I'm reading this post from Michael. I think he's taking it personal. Don't take anything personal. We're just kidding.
We were just joking, Mike.
I tell you, man, we live in a sensitive world.
I know.
Real sensitive world.
Dave, everyone always gets bothered by some of the joking that you do. Then.
Yeah. I'm an antagonistic guy.
Mark raises there with king, queen, and diamonds. We were joking, Mike.
Well, I was joking against Michael. I wasn't joking against Jeff.
Oh,
Klein.
no, you weren't joking with Jeff.
Jeff Klein can go to hell. Bastard.
Some of them are here, though, right?
Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions. Button moves over here to seat 7. Well, king, queen suited here for Coco, and he mucked it from up front. Oh, I guess that's how tight he's going to play.
I don't mind that play. King, queen, suited, you said?
Yeah, king, queen suited.
Oh, okay. King, queen suited, I'd probably limp in there. Especially at this game. Yeah.
Limped around. 4-way action.
I want to see a lot of flops in this game.
Ace.
But a pure chance I get lucky and somebody pays me off huge here. And look at Ron, he's got 2 pair and he checks it. And we've already seen tonight the best way to make money in this pot is really to bet into somebody and hope they make a play on you.
Now he's going to bet.
70.
Bet 70 here. And, you know, you got 2 Jack-9s in there. Well, Paul does not overcall, but the value of Jack-9 here has been 8 comes. You beat any other 9, obviously.
Right.
Adam needs an 8 and only an 8. It's going to be pretty obvious as well. The river's a 6. And look at that. Ron checked it. He was trying to check to induce a bluff there, I think. And Adam did not bite.
Not a terrible play on the river.
Nope. Did not bite.
Figured the 6 didn't complete anything. You wonder if Ron had actually bet the flop if Adam calls him there and on the turn. You never know.
Putt moves over here to seat 8. And Adam is going to limp in here with an ace-10 from up front.
Yeah, I think I'm going to make a blanket statement right now. Nobody should ever take anything I say personally about their poker game or about their lives, except for you.
3-way action here. 6, 4, 5 with a couple of diamonds. Gets checked around here. Turns a 4.
Ron's going to put a little bet out there, try to steal it.
$60 bet.
Adam calls with nothing, but a bet or nothing.
Yeah, ace high.
And can Ron follow up on this bet here?
River's a 9. Ace high's going to win.
And Ron's...
And look at that. And Adam checked right behind him.
Yep.
He thought his hand was good in showdown, and it is.
I guess so. Wow. Although we saw him, he actually checked down Jack-9 last hand, so... Always interesting. Live to bike. Unedited, unscripted, raw, keeping it real. You gonna play after tonight's game?
Yeah.
Yeah? Double fist night?
No.
Or no more drinking?
Nope.
You mentioned to me that you're gonna kind of cut down on the beer after while you're playing, huh?
Yeah, no limit. I kind of handed a guy $1,500 on Wednesday. Started thinking it over as I went to bed that night about how.
You could have handed it to me.
Yeah.
Ronnie would have appreciated it also.
You know, you and I were saying in limit games, kind of play themselves, but no limit, you kind of have to have that sixth sense, like as you said, right? Kind of like an instinct that somewhat impaired.
Well, if you're playing for real, you're playing for real money. I mean, if you're playing with a bunch of buddies, and,
right?
It's not money you're really worried about. Hey, why not?
King Jack 10 here on the flop. Now Coco's got Queen 10.
Alan's got 2 pair though.
Yeah, he's going to bet bottom 2 pair here from the cutoff.
And is Coco going to get involved here with an open-ended straight draw? It is a rainbow board. Not much for implied odds there. And he throws it away. He checks and just folds.
I don't necessarily mind that either. I mean, we're kind of trying to set it up to get on him that he plays so tight. But, I mean, mucking King, Queen, and Diamonds in second position from up front, that is pretty tight.
Wait, the flop is King, Jack 10. You have Queen 10. You have a pair and open in the straight draw. Just check and fold? Nothing? Just forget it. I'm just going to assume the guy in the button has something.
It's pretty tight laid.
No, it's not. I mean, but it's just the way he played it.
Right,
he didn't even throw a little $60 bet out there to see where he was at. He just check and fold.
Pocket aces here for seat 5. Now, Sean, I thought he would actually be one of the more action players on the table. We haven't really seen him play a hand yet.
Well, you wonder now, I know you played with him in the 3 to 5 game, and he might be action in that game. You wonder if this game's a little bit out of his comfort zone.
Right. Wow, we get a raise here. Straddle pot by Adam. And he's going to make it 100 to go. Sean with under the gun with aces.
Now, he's not familiar with Adam. Sometimes I'd limp in with aces with Adam.
In the straddle spot.
Well, you might get 3 or 4 limpers. Then Adam makes it 150. You can make it 400.
Adam is going to call here with king 9 offsuit, and we're heads up for about $230.
And Adam misses.
7-6 deuce here. Adam is totally missed.
Well, he's going to check. Sean's going to put a little continuation bet out there. And it looks like about a $400 continuation bet. Actually, about a $300 continuation bet into about a $300 pot.
I said bet this ace, okay? What?
You didn't have a pair, you can bet $200? How do you bet that much?
When I read my money? Like this guy.
I don't really know what Adam's thinking about.
Whatever you want, buddy.
I can tell you, I think Adam puts more moves on. I think Adam puts more moves than Mike does in this game. Makes more moves, especially now the kind of the new Mike. Well, I don't know if necessarily it's the new Mike, but I definitely think
Mike does. I mean, Mike is definitely.
I think Mike is a good player. I think he has a real good grasp of the game now in terms of reading hands.
He's great at reading hands.
Absolutely.
He knows how to get away from hands.
Yeah.
Sometimes he gives some players too much action, but generally speaking, he drives people crazy, and he's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
And he's a winning player.
Yeah.
Adam
might not be to that level yet, right?
Yeah, well, not from what we've seen tonight.
Yeah.
He played pretty well on last Friday. He played pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
He made a couple of big hands, built his stack up to $9,000, and then he played pretty well. We saw him play like a real donkey on Tuesday, and so far tonight he hasn't shown much. But obviously, seeing a guy play for 7 or 8 hours is probably not enough to, figure out how he plays.
Interesting email here from Rob Rosenberg. He said, "Hey guys, the action in the cash games is always fun to watch, but when will we see, say, a World Series of Poker satellite or a WPT satellite? I've always been curious to watch and learn. P.S. Keep up the great commentary." We actually tried like one table or final table tournaments here on Live at the Bike almost a year or so ago. And I got to tell you, tournament play in a live, unedited format just really does not play all that well.
Yeah, you and I always argue about this.
It's just kind of a shove fest.
Yeah. Pocket queens for Adam. I'd love to get back onto the subject in a second after this hand, because you and I always kind of debate this.
And
King Jack for Alan.
Well, Coco's going to raise. He's got pocket 10s. He's going to make it 100.
No, but
let's see what Adam does here.
The interesting thing is now, does Adam know Coco? Does Coco know Adam? If you know Coco, you might just call it queens.
Well, I think here I'll throw this out at you. I think that Adam. Okay, is Adam going to just call or he just calls? That is a dangerous way to play queens with 3 limpers, unless you kind of just hit a set.
But I'm saying against Coco, I might just be playing it to hit my set. I don't know. I haven't really seen that much of Coco, but I don't know. That might be the worst.
Oh, look at this! Adam checked blind, and Coco's got the overpair.
And I think Coco is going to lose some money here. And Coco might go broke on this hand.
Yeah, he's kind of short.
He is.
He bets
200.
Yeah, he's going to bet 200
into about a $240 pot.
Yeah,
pot's 440 now.
2, 3, 7.
He's got 7 left. And that's what Adam wants to know. How much more behind?
Funny thing is, if you and I were in Adam's spot here, it actually somewhat puts us in a tough spot. You don't necessarily know if your queens are good.
The problem is, those Coco can easily have 10s or jacks here. Basically,
I think Adam has moved all in here.
Yeah, Coco's either got 10s, jacks, queens, or queens, kings, or aces.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, kings, aces, 10s, or jacks.
And here's the thing for Coco, and look at this. Coco immediately calls. I'm going to throw something out at you at the end of the hand here, Dave. Coco called, and Coco's in real bad shape. He needs a 10 and a 10 only.
And it's not going to come.
Wow, look at that. Adam fills up on the river. What I was going to say was that especially new players to the no-limit game, if you're coming over from a limit game, it never even crosses your mind that a guy that's called you in the blind with a raise might have a higher overpair than 10s, jacks, queens, kings, or aces because it's such an automatic 3-bet in that spot and limit, right?
Exactly.
And I don't even think that ran through Coco's mind.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe he looked at the pot and he figured, I only got 700 left, but...
Well, actually, in that spot, I'd probably call there, too, if I'm Coco with that,
Against Adam?
with that
Yeah.
stack size. Against Adam, yeah.
It's a real tough laydown. You go, hey,
Yeah.
if you got a deuce or you got an overpair, you got me beat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I got you.
But you do have to, I always try to point that out, you do have to recognize
Oh, of course.
that there always is a chance if you have an overpair and you don't have aces on a rag board that someone else, they might have a set, but they might also have a higher overpair than you, too, that you can't beat.
I mean, there have been a few times where I've tangled it up with you, where I've gotten you to throw down 8s or 9s.
Right.
And, you had to take my word for it, but I actually told you, and I was telling you the truth, that I had queens.
Right.
And I just smooth called your raise.
Right.
Sometimes I'll raise with queens.
Right.
I'll re-raise with queens. Sometimes I'll just call. You mix up your play.
Look at this. Sean has flopped top 2 pair here. Queen 6.
And Coco's out of the game. Coco's gone. Do we have a board?
Sean checked it. Turns an 8. And Sean is going to bet here. That's 250.
If we don't have a board, maybe.
Oh, will you stop it?
What? Did I say something?
Alan is called. Alan is called with a pair of 8s, and the river is an ace. I think Sean should value bet here again. He's got 2 pair.
Oh, definitely value bet.
Yeah. That's
Clear.
200 here.
I mean, if you think your opponent has 4-5, he's not going to call you. But if your opponent has king, queen, or queen, jack, hey, you might get paid off. Who knows?
And Alan had called him there with an 8.
And you know what? And if your opponent had ace, queen, you might have heard from him.
Yeah.
So I'm not really scared of ace, queen there. Anyway, I was going to back to that satellite and World Poker Tour type, tournament type atmosphere for our live bike. Obviously, Bart is correct. It doesn't really show that well because with the escalating blinds, generally a live tournament is a push fest. You don't see much post-flop play. Generally, it's one guy raises all in, everybody else folds. Guy raises, and for every 15 hands like that, then we see one exciting hand. So it's not that exciting. But for a lot of our tournament players, and for myself, I think it's really interesting to see that it is a good educational tool to see how to play a final table. So maybe we'll do it in the future. Who knows?
Right.
Won't be a regular event, though, that's for sure.
Got an open raise here. Actually, we got a raise here on the button. Open limp under the gun by Allen, 7-5 of clubs.
I mean, people have to realize that when they watch the World Poker Tour or World Series, that is heavily edited. I mean, you are seeing the best 8 hands, 9 hands, over a 6-hour or 10-hour period.
Question here from Dan Stemkowski asking, sometimes when I see somebody dragging the pot, they throw something at the dealer. What is that? Is it a tip? Yeah, it's a tip. And basically, anybody tips regardless of, however they feel. There is no set rule. That's basically what I want to say. Also an email here from Thomas Boldrick. He says, I have all those World Series broadcasts, but they're on VHS. The tapes sold individually for about $20 when I bought them several years ago. I got them in Vegas from that Gambler's Bookshop. Are you familiar with that shop? There's that shop. And he said his favorite one was the 73 tape with Puggy Pearson.
That's the one I watched that today.
Yeah.
It really is a great tape. I mean, Puggy's such a character in the tape. I mean, he actually, in a weird way, he, rivals. I mean, actually, I don't want to say rivals. Some of the guys today kind of, take after him. The way they talk at the game, the way they kind of ride the players.
Look at this. Russ has brought it in for a raise with King Jack off suit. Adam is re-raised here, and I got to tell you that Russ probably doesn't make this pre-flop call against anyone except for Adam here, out of position with King Jack.
Well,
Heads up.
Adam built up that image.
Well, there's the king.
Problem is, does Russ even know he's ahead?
Now, Russ checks, and Adam bets 200 here.
I mean, are you in check call mode here?
Well, he check calls the flop.
Now, you might check call a flop, and now you might bet the turn. It's a play I like to make, and I might bet this here.
Turns a 9.
You check call, you see where you're at, the pot's not that big, and then you bet 300 into the pot.
Well, Adam checks the river, and the river is a 10! And Adam makes a set. And Russ checked the river. And he might be inducing this. Well, it is a third diamond.
Yeah.
So, if that was an offsuit 10, I think that Adam would be much more likely to get paid off by Russ. But it is a third diamond.
I don't like the way Russ played this hand. If you're going to call a range with King Jack out of position, you can't play it that weak and let your opponent get there. Now, I know obviously it was a 2-outer. he got the bad luck, and Adam might have called a turn bet anyway, but I think Russ needed to put some money in the turn.
And it's an $800 bet here on the river, kind of an over bet, $800 bet into a $600 pot. Adam making it look like he's trying to bluff, and he might get paid off here.
And that's what sometimes like a player like Adam or a player like Corporation Mike, sometimes because of their image, they get a lot of free cards.
Right.
And sometimes those free cards get them there.
And look at that, he pays them off.
Set of tens, yeah, and Russ is pissed off, and you know what, though? I don't know if Adam can call a $500 bet or $600 bet on the turn.
Yeah.
Now, I'll see that play from Mo a lot, where you don't want to check raise, because the guy then raises big. Sometimes you want to see that turn card and see a safe card. And then when the turn card comes out safe, why not throw a little bet out there?
Look at this, Surfing Illini says he came back and he heard his name. What the fuck were you guys talking about, you bastard fucks? Fill him in, Dave. Everybody can take it. Don't ever take anything personally, what you say, except for Surfing Illini. Is that what you said?
You know what? He can watch the archives. This show replays, right? At 11 p.m., again at 2 a.m., 5 a.m. Let him watch it then. Okay?
I'm actually almost envious of what Jeff's situation is. He's moving to Vegas. Basically, if he goes bust, it's not that big of a deal to him. He knows he's just going to be playing poker for a year, and then he's going to law school. He's almost got nothing to lose, which is almost, kind of a great spot to be
He's got
in.
a lot to lose. He's going to law school.
Well, besides that. 6-8-7 here with a couple clubs.
Allen's open-ended here.
Allen bet. Now, Adam did not raise with ace-king of diamonds. Now, the problem here, though, is that why is he still in there with that flop?
Yeah. Well,
Turns a jack. Paul actually called with king 10 there as well. Got shot at a 9. And is Allen going to fire out again here? He does.
Allen's pretty good about firing into his draws. We saw that the other day. He fires in with his flush draws, and he'll continue firing. And if these guys call him, Allen will bet the river too. You'll see. But this is the part of the game. I mean, we used to see this from Mike, and we still see it occasionally. I just don't understand it. If you're going to raise with garbage, why not raise with your big hand? It doesn't make any sense to me at all. People don't give you credit for a real hand anyway, so it's like a value race.
Well, that's why, like I said, I always get on Mike so much.
Yeah.
Because Mike loves to pull that limp re-raise sometimes with aces and kings. And he gets himself in trouble because one of the minor, well, not minor leaks, but one of the leaks in his game is he can't necessarily get away from an overpair and a limp pot.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Mike's game also. I mean, I think Mike is also prone to tilt. We've seen that. Like a lot of good players, they steam. And it's really tough to be a consistent winning player if you let your emotions get involved. Welcome Tony to the table. He's in seat number 2.
Ask again. It was like sitting back there.
And is that, Filipino Tony. Tony is an accomplished tournament player. One of the really, really superior tournament players out there. I mean, I really like his tournament game.
He likes to get mixed up with you, Dave, a lot, doesn't he, in the cash game?
Yeah, we both have a mutual respect for each other. I mean, I really have a lot of respect for him, and I think he has a lot of respect for me. And usually after we tangle it up, we shake hands and everything.
Look at this. King 4 deuce here, 3 flush, all diamonds.
He plays where I play, so we're going to tangle it up once in a while. We both like to play a lot of pots.
Limped around.
I mean, hey, as much as I like to avoid you when I'm playing in a pot, when I'm playing at a table, I just play a lot of pots. I'm in a lot of hands, so it's hard for me to avoid you.
It always seems like every time I'm in the pot, you give me action, though. Maybe that's just...
Well, I'm in every pot.
Now, Sean is bet here with a pair of deuces and a jack-high flush draw, and Adam has called him, Dave, with pocket 5s without a diamond. I mean, it is second pair of the board. It goes check, check, and the river is a diamond. And now Sean is going to value bet here. And again, it's just one of those situations. I actually, when I first started reading about Hold'em, and this was actually in Skolansky's, actually it was in the Theory of Poker, I think, some of the best counters to a semi-bluff, to someone who you think is semi-bluffing in a pot, and you have like a kind of a weaker hand, is to just fold. I mean, what are you really looking for fives? He's on a diamond draw, but he has overcards to your fives. You're out of position. And with 2 cards to come, you're never going to be able to show any strength. And you're not going to be that much of a favor. You're actually in a dog with the 2 overcards and diamonds with 2 cards to come.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why semi-bluff can be such a powerful tool.
Yes, I agree. I have nothing to add to that. I'm sorry, Bart. You're looking at me like I should add something. You're saying it right.
No, I was looking at you because I knew you weren't paying attention. Much like I sometimes don't. When you ask me questions, I'm like off in the air.
It's like the you know, the teacher in Scooby-Doo.
Right.
Scooby-Doo, I'm sorry, in Snoopy. Wonk, 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 wonk.
Wow, pocket aces here for seat 8. Ace king here for Sean.
50.
And a $50 raise here by seat 5. Paul calls in between with the queen jack. Let's see if Alan's going to raise it to 150. That is kind of a little mini raise there.
Yeah, but it should.
And look at this. Sean comes back over the top for another mini raise with ace king.
I gotta tell you, I just call here. I'm in position.
Remember though, you got to look at Alan's. Well, Alan's maybe got 1,000 left.
That's exactly why I can't get hurt here.
Paul gets rid of it.
You know what I mean? If I've got 6,000, I can get hurt. I can't get hurt here. I'm mini raised. I mean, I just called this now. The guy has shown strength.
Well, he's got a mini raise back.
And now Sean should throw this away.
Well, now Sean immediately calls.
Well, what do I know?
And Sean has committed a lot of money here with ace king. And we've got about a $1,400 pot going
Is Sean going to check and fold when he misses?
Well, I think that Alan only has about 800 left. 5-5-3 here on the flop.
Now he's going to check and he's going to fold?
Less than that. 500 left. I don't know why Sean just didn't push if he thought he had the best hand on the pre-flop.
Now, the only question now, the smooth call, his raise, does Sean follow up and bet right into you?
Well, here's this. Now, the pot is now 2,500 to call. He's got ace-king. I think it's obvious you're up against an overpair. If you figure he's got queens or lower, you have, what, 6 outs with 2 cards to come?
Well, you've raised, he's
3-1.
re-raised. You've re-raised him, and now he's re-raised you. I mean, somebody send them a memo, you know?
Well, what I'm saying is he's put himself in such a spot now where it's like, geez, it's 500 for me to call a $2,000
Well, yeah,
pot.
well, what he really should have done was pre-flop. If he was going to call the
And he just
$400,
folded.
he probably should have just moved all in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's what I was trying to
Actually,
get at.
probably should have folded. But if he's not going to fold and he's intent on calling him, he probably should just move all in and commit his chip.
Yeah.
And see all 5 cards at least. The turn was a deuce. And look at that, the river would have been a 4. He would have actually chopped it up. They both would have made a straight, a wheel.
Again, you can email us with live@thebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions. Butt moves over here to seat number 1.
40 to call, live straddle.
Get a raise here by... Actually, it's a straddle pot by Adam
Yeah.
today.
Adam's got ace-jack in the straddle. I almost guarantee a raise is coming out of him.
Tony just makes the call here.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Well, again, you know, if you're going to straddle in a full ring game, you need to be raising out of the straddle spot when it gets limped around to you.
Why not?
Sometimes, at least, you know.
You've got to be
ace-jack.
aware of your image, though.
Right.
You know, a lot of players will limp in. I do it all the time with Mike. When Mike's in the straddle spot or Mike's in the blind and I think that he's going to raise, I'll often just smooth call.
And look at this. Russ is going to call him with 8-6 of diamonds out of position. Now, the only thing about that, though, is you can't necessarily give Adam credit for having a real hand, and you're out of position, right?
Yeah. It's a hand I don't really want to get involved in for $200. Problem is you can hit your hand, and Adam could have nothing.
Now, Adam has flopped top pair, and he's got the only club. I mean, Russ is virtually drawing dead here and running cards.
I mean, against some players, you can even slow play it, but against Russ, there's really no point because Russ is not going to fire at it. Might as well bet your hand, and Russ will throw it away.
So I think we're going to see another chip count here. Second chip count of the night here. There we go. So look, you can see that now we've got 27,000 on the table. The only thing is seat 2 here is Tony. That's Tony in seat 2 at 2,000. And Adam here now has the most on the table. Let's take a look at the differences.
And Adam put $3,700.
He was up 500 before, now he's up 3,700.
And that could happen. I mean, the next chip count, he could be up 7,000. He could be down 3,000.
And Paul is down 1,000.
Yeah.
Slowly kind of chipping away. He got raised out of that pot by Adam. Remember when he kind of, raised it with ace-jack?
He's made a couple of interesting calls tonight. I like to call him creative.
Limped around. And we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-way action. The only player that's not in the hand is Dave over in seat 7. Jack 3-3 here. Well, no one has a 3. We got a king jack here for Sean, which is the best hand in seat 5.
And after Sean lost that ace king, I don't think he's going to go anywhere here. He's going to really push at that.
Well, it gets checked around.
Oh, what do I know?
Well, he's from up front. He didn't bet. Turns 4 now.
Put some money in there now.
How about Adam's going to put some money in? He's going to put some money in with
nothing. Oh, he's got an open in the straight draw.
Deuce 5, yep. And you know what? Sean just calls.
And does Mark call this now? Yeah, flush draw. I can't believe Mark did not bet the flop in the cutoff seat with the flush draw. Now he's going to throw it away.
But it is a paired board. He feels like he might not want to get involved. And here we go to the river. The river's a 10.
And
it's just a little bet here by Adam. That's not going to work. He's going to bet 120. I mean, here's the other thing that Corporation Mike, I think, does a little bit better than Adam. He knows what to bet if he's trying to bet off a bluff. I mean, he's betting 120 into what, a $300 pot. What did Sean call you? Unless Sean just called with a flush draw that he checked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing you're going to be able to get him off of, right?
Doesn't make much sense there. I mean, let me ask you something. What about Mark there in seat 1? What happens? Okay, everybody checked the flop, right? Now Adam comes out and bets, and Adam betting means nothing. But seat 5 still just calls you.
Well, that's a perfect time, let we say, to raise.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You make it 450 there. Adam can't call, and you might get king jack out of there also.
Yeah.
The only thing is that seat number 5, Sean just did lose a big hand. You rarely want to bluff somebody who's losing, but he's not showing much strength, that's for sure.
Yep. Get a raise here by seat number 1. Raise it up with the suited connector here, Dave. 1 off the cutoff, 7-6 of diamonds. Makes it 80. Paul is going to call with pocket 8s.
And he's in good shape.
And Sean's in there with 4s. Now, this board comes high, and Mark continues to bet and represent. He should take it down.
Well, that's the thing. And it's not a real good flop for Paul or Sean.
Sean definitely needs to bet here. It's a great flop for him to bet.
He's got to realize that his image is well.
Oh, look at this. He checked it. Turns a deuce. And now maybe Paul takes the initiative and bets here with 8s. I don't know.
He very well might.
Because you know what? I mean, it's almost like Mark might be playing this like 9s or 10s here,
exactly.
Right? And Paul bets. I just never understand that. I mean, part of the reason why you would raise the 6-7 of diamonds is because if you get crap on the board, it probably hits your hand in some way. But if you get Broadway, it's so easy to represent because you raise pre-flop in position, right?
Well, you've got to realize your image as well. I mean, Paul has called you.
Yeah. He's
called you hoping you remember, you haven't played a hand all night. He's calling you hoping you have aces or kings, and he wants to hit his set and break you.
Right.
And you just gave him a gift. So he was ready to check and fold. Guaranteed.
I just got a PM from Evelyn Ing RN Us.
Is that Evelyn Ing?
No, I don't think so. Just curious what yours and Dave's favorite beer and mixed drinks are. And if you guys are ever going to drink on the show again, we have plans to on Cinco de Mayo. Tequila, tequila and Coronas.
Did Evelyn okay this? Did our producer okay this?
Yes, I think she did.
Really?
Yeah, raise by Tony.
Did I approve this? Did I say it was okay?
Sean is called and Paul is called. Well, Sean's open-ended here.
A worthless flush draw. Yeah, worthless straight draw.
And Tony hit bottom pair. He checked. It turns a 9. Checked around again. Tony's hand's still good here.
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
What do you mean? No one has
Sean's
a heart.
straight.
Oh, yeah, he backed into a straight. Is he going to bet out here? He bets out with the straight.
I don't mind the play here. You're betting out a straight, hoping to get somebody off like the 7 of hearts. Okay? If you had like the 7 of hearts or the 6 of hearts, something like that, would you call?
I don't know. I mean, you're right, but I don't necessarily know if that's his intention, though. I mean, is there any difference, though? that if you're betting there with the straight or if you're betting with nothing when the fourth heart comes?
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. There's no difference.
Right.
But I think he's betting, I made a straight, I'm going to bet.
Oh.
But it doesn't make any difference if you made the straight or not when the fourth heart comes out,
I was
right?
giving him credit.
Okay. Hey. I stand corrected, then.
No, hey, you could be right. Like I said, I mean, for the last year, you and I have been trying to get inside these guys' heads. Most nights I find it very impossible. And there are some people's heads I have no desire to get into. Imagine what the inside of Mike's head looks like. Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Sarkman here with Bart Hanson. You're watching No Limit Hold'em Friday night style. It's blinds are 10-20, unrestricted buying game, minimum buying 1,000. We've got about 30,000 on the table. Yeah. Button is in seat 6. Once again, politically incorrect, keeping it real. Ace King for Allen. Pocket 9s for Ron. And Ron is going to raise under the gun with 9s. And that's a lot. That's a real tournament play there. And it's one way to play the hand. Many players will actually limp in with 9s. The problem with 9s in early position is if you get called at all, and there's not much value to stealing the blinds this game. And if you get called at all, you don't know what you're getting called by. Oftentimes people in a no-limit cash game will call you with 10s, jacks, queens. They'll smooth call you. So if a rag board comes out, you don't really know where you're at. And if you get called and the flop comes out with an ace or a king and a couple of people are in position, well, then where are you? And Alan's going to come out and bet $150 right into the razor. And Ron's going to throw it away. And that's one of the problems with 9s. Oftentimes in early position, I will limp in with that unless the table is really tight passive. If it's tight passive table, I'll be raising with almost all my hands. Table like this, though, I might limp in. If a couple of people call and then Adam raises it up, I might pop it back when it comes back to me. But I don't mind, hey, if 6 or 7 people limp in, I'm playing it for a set. I'm playing to see if I can win a really big pot. Hey, always more than one way to play a hand.
Raise.
Get a raise here out of seat number 1. He's raising it up with 10s, $100. 10s are obviously a little better than 9s, but pretty much the same spot there. And he's under the gun also, and he's raising it right away. He gets called by King 10 here. And Ron is going to call out of position with Ace 9. Now, there's a third player involved. Maybe you're deep. You think you have some implied odds here. Now, he hits his ace. The problem with this is he has no idea where he's at. 3 diamonds on the board, and he's out of position. And it checks around to Sean, who's got absolutely nothing. Sean's missed the flop, really. I mean, he's got a pair of kings, but it's garbage. And Ron is going to call him. And that's the problem with a hand like Ace-9 out of position. You don't really know where you're at. You can't play the hand hard. And you also have a pre-flop raiser who's raising it under the gun. You've got to put this guy on maybe Ace-King or a big pocket pair. You've got to know that you have at best 3 outs with Ace-9. And you're not sure which one it is. You don't know if you want a 9 or you want an ace. And wow, all 3 gets called in 2 spots. And the turn is a jack now. And both Sean and Mark have picked up a gut shot straight draw to the queen. And look at that. Now Ron, with the best hand, gives them both a free card. The river's a 4, and he's going to escape.
Yep, he made it. Well, he made it with the winning hand.
Yeah, but that's the problem, though, with playing Ace-9 like that. You could never play it hard. You give your opponents free cards. And there were a lot of cards that could have come off and killed him. A 10, a king, a diamond, a queen. And he's going to put out what it looks like maybe a little bit of a blocker bet.
400.
Probably thinks he has the best hand here. And obviously, I don't think he's going to get called in any spot unless, well, you never know. Maybe
Sean going to call it King 10 here?
Yeah, King 10 of spades. And I got to tell you, if I get called, I think I'm dead, don't you? With Ace-9?
I don't think Ace-9's good if I get called.
Yeah.
I think Sean's cutting out some raising chips here, it looks like. It looks like he might push here. Now, he did it in such a methodical way.
400 more.
And he's going to make it 400 more here.
It's almost like he made 2 pair or something. You never know.
And that's going to work.
And Ron throws it away. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's the problem with ace-9. And it's not a problem of getting thrown up the hand. I mean, I'd probably throw away ace-9 there also.
Right.
But you've got to realize that you're calling a raise. Now, seat number 1, and Ron really wanted us to be hard on him. I'm going to be hard on him. Seat number 1, who's only played like 2 hands all night, raises under the gun. Why am I calling his raise with ace-9 in the big blinds?
Right.
Can I pick a better place? Put my money in the pot. Nice play by Sean there.
60.
$60 raise coming in here.
Nice. I mean, I think clearly he was raising knowing that he was beat.
Oh, absolutely.
And he sensed Ron's weakness, sniffed it out, and played it well.
So, Filipino Tony there raises some pocket jacks. Look at this. Sean's going to call with queen 4 offsuit.
Raise.
Paul calls with jack 10 of spades. And Ron is going to re-raise with ace 6 of clubs. Is he tilting a little bit? Or is he just trying to pick a spot? He makes it 300 more. Now, he actually has about maybe 3,000 in front of him. Tony makes a quick call. You know, it's interesting. Tony makes a quick call, you know, right away. Didn't even, because it doesn't look like he has that many chips. I wonder if, you know, he's just going to try to see a flop here.
Up to me, huh?
He doesn't have enough money if he thinks he's behind.
Tony's pretty good. He's pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
And maybe he thinks this guy is tilting a little bit. You know, he just saw him get bluffed up a pot. Well, he doesn't know if he was bluffed or not, but either way, he lost the pot. And Paul's now going to see it.
Well, you know what? Now Paul, jack 10 suited, in position in a big pot. I like it.
And pot's now $1,000.
Yeah, here we go. Ace 10 3 here. I think this Ron's outflopped everybody.
Yeah.
But it's almost like one of these things where it's like you can't like the flop at all, even if you hit your hand.
That's the
And
problem.
he checks it.
Once again, he's playing a pot. He's playing a big pot
And Tony
out
checks.
of position.
And is Paul going to take the initiative to bet here and maybe take it down?
Well, you know what? I mean, I think Paul's going to check
gonna
it.
check. Maybe he thinks that Ron might be slow playing. And the turn's a 10, and Paul gets there.
Oh, man. Well, if Ron wasn't tilting yet, he's going to tilt now.
The third diamond, he checks. And I think Tony now is going to come out and bet. He bets 500. Now, for Paul, is there any chance that Ron is slow playing a monster like 3 aces? He's got him behind. He's just going to call. It is a third diamond.
Well, I don't mind that.
Boy, when Paul calls here, I think you get rid of ace 6. don't
Actually,
you?
no. I mean, I'm curious why Paul didn't raise that. Actually, with
Well,
3
that's
diamonds
what-
out there, the more you think
well,
about
I'm
it.
trying to figure out if maybe he is trying to figure out what Ron is going to do.
You know what, though?
Could Ron be sandbagging a set of aces here and just playing it so slow? I mean, I wonder if Ron actually came over the top
The problem,
here.
though, is what if Ron has 2 kings with the king of diamonds, though, here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I know it's a
The way
third
Ron
diamond.
played it.
Yeah.
And Ron raised out of the blind after a raise. He re-raised. You know, now you're keeping him in there. Now the pot is 2,500
Yeah.
to call. If I have 2 kings with the king of diamonds, I might call this.
I might put a little mini raise in there if I was Paul, just to kind of see what happens.
Make it 1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, now if a diamond comes up, you have no idea where you're at.
Well, the river's an 8. Tony's going to check.
And I think it's a clear value bet time here.
No, Paul's going to check right behind him.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what I will say. I mean, in Paul's defense, there, Tony is a pretty tricky player.
Yeah.
Tony will bet his flush occasionally,
Right.
and then check behind. You know, he will do that. He does play
You
tricky.
know, the interesting thing to throw out there, though, is that, you know, if you mini raise there with Jack 10, just so you can get somebody out with a high diamond, are you going to throw the hand down to Ron's check raise all in? Or if Ron smooth calls and then bets big on the river, what are you going to do? I'm just saying that Ron might have played 3 aces the same way. That's just one specific hand, I realize that, but...
Check twice, you mean? Check once, gets checked around, and then check the second time?
Check a second time when he fills up. You know how people do that.
I know, you're right,
I know,
you're right.
you know,
Right. Never put money in the pot at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I buy it.
I mean, I know you can't necessarily be scared of that, but it would probably be more likely that he probably had queens or kings there, and he just
I'd
wasn't.
probably tap the table and go, hey, man, well played, those pocket aces. You keep doing it that way, okay?
Three-way action here, limped around. Jack, Jack 8 here, a couple diamonds. And Adam's got best hand here with a pair of 8s.
And once again, you know, if Ron wants to be brutally honest, I mean, the way he played that hand is really, you know, not very good.
Well, he had the best hand, and then he just kind of gave up on it.
He put $150 in the pot with ace-6, flops an ace and has no idea where he's at, checks twice, checks once, and lets everybody else get there.
Well, and it's not even... you know, it's not even an issue of what the flop was. Because I'll get to it in a second here. Adam bets 80, and I assume he's going to take it down here.
You almost are forced to put a continuation.
Tony's he's gonna bluff at it. He's going to check raise 280 here. Try to represent a jack. And again, like you said, Tony can sometimes play it a little bit cagey.
Yeah, but he's doing it against the wrong player here. He might be bluffing the wrong guy.
700.
And that is a big tournament move. Ronnie correctly pointed that out to me, and that is, I mean, you see the weakness, and look at Adam.
Adam, he's going to come, wow, I don't know, wow, he's coming over the top all in. Well, I guess he can only get called by a jack right now. I guess
well, he might have also, he might have been looking at how much money Tony has.
Yeah.
He's not moving all in.
Right.
Tony's only got $700 left.
And you know what? If he says, if you got a jack, you got me, but I'm not going to try to let you price me into a flush draw. Maybe I can get you off of a bigger 8, right?
Exactly. And that might have been, I mean, I don't think if Tony's got $1,700,
yeah.
I don't think he's making that move.
Well, the other thing, you know, that hand that Ron played with the A6, forget about what the flop is. This is why it always, you know, I ride players that make these raises out of the blinds. Now, Ron's raise was a pretty legitimate raise, but guys that make these mini raises.
How was it a legitimate raise? You raised out of the blind with A6
No, what I'm saying is the raise amount was a legitimate raise.
Oh, 300, right?
Yeah. But these guys that raise out of the blind there with a hand like that to 80 or 100, and then they get 6 or 7 callers with queen 10 offsuit. Problem there for Ron, though, is once you get called in 2 spots, regardless of what comes on the flop, I think he felt uncomfortable with the hand. Well, he never would know unless he flopped trips or 2 pair or you know, clubs.
I mean, you're almost forced to put that continuation bet out there.
Yeah.
The only problem, and I'll just throw this out there, the pot was so big that to put out a bet that didn't seem weak, you had to put out about a $600 or $700 bet out there.
Right.
And it was also a problem of who called him. I mean, remember, it wasn't just Tony calling him. It was Paul in seat 6 calling him. And I got to tell you, if I make it 300 out of the blinds and Tony calls me and Paul calls me, man, I got to start thinking of hands he calls 300 with.
Look at this flop for Allen. 8, 6, 7. He's got 7, 9 of hearts. Pair and an open-ended straight flush draw.
Wow.
He bets 50.
That's a hand, huh? Man.
And Tony calls.
With nothing.
He's got a gut shot to the 9. He also can catch a king. And Sean calls with a 6. Turns a heart, and Allen gets there. He's got the flush.
Now, Tony has redraw here. If a heart comes on the river and it is not a 5 of hearts.
And he makes the call.
If it's not a 5 of hearts here.
Yeah, because Tony has the 10 of hearts
right,
in his
then
hand.
he can win this pot. Tony's got about 7 outs, I want to say.
$90 bet. And Tony check calls. And the river is a 3. And look at this, Tony's going to bluff at it. He check called the turn and he bets 500. And in Allen's case here, I think you just call. I don't know if there's a lot of value. I don't know what Tony would ever call you with if you raised him here.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling that Tony, I thought Tony was in position when he made that call on the turn, because I had a feeling he might try to set up a play on the river. In this case, he check called out of position with the intent on bluffing at the river.
Yeah, well, you know, I have a lot of respect for Tony's game. But in the first 10 minutes of his game tonight, he's playing it like a tournament player. For some reason, he's on, like, you know, he's in high speed here.
Yeah.
Thinking he needs to win all the chips right now.
Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions. Follow a live thread on 2+2. You can also become our friend on MySpace, myspace.com/liveatthebike. There was an email here from Paul Sweeney asking about running it more than once, how that exactly works. You can head over to our website, liveatthebike.com, click over on As Seen at Live at the Bike, and it gives you a little bit of terminology.
Right.
Why he's running it. Some of the terminology we use, like straddle and such like that.
Sean's got ace-king. We know how much he loves that hand.
And he raised it.
And now he's hit a king.
And Tony called him with 7 deuce offsuit. Is he steaming a little bit here?
Can't still steam without Tony.
Sean bet. It is just amazing.
Hey, you know what's funny here? He actually says here, hey, when is it correct to run the board more than once when heads up?
Right, he said, I'd never thought about it, but when is it correct to run the board more than once when heads up? And he thoughts about how to make that
decision. And it's really
decision.
just a personal decision of, you know, when for you the pot is such that you want to hedge your bet. Because it doesn't change the, you know, it doesn't change the percentages at all.
I mean, for a professional poker player, I think that variance is the #1 enemy. But, you know, what Barry Greenstein talked about is if you're always going to run the cards, people feel that they can move in on you with draws and call you with draws because, you know what, they feel, oh, this guy's going to run it.
Yeah,
I won't lose my whole stack.
People aren't scared.
Exactly.
Barry Greenstein always said that he wants to put the, you know, the fear of God in them. They might lose their entire stack when they're playing against him. Sean has ace-king again. Look at this. But having said that, I will say, sometimes if a game is really good and you only have one buy-in, you might want to run it more than once so you have some money left to stay in the game.
Right. Which is originally how that came about, so the games wouldn't break.
Exactly.
So Sean raises it out of the blind here, ace king of clubs. Ron is going to call with 7-8 off suit here.
Everybody wants to see the flop, huh?
And Tony has a propensity to steam. I got tangled up with him in a couple of pots where he ended up losing a pot to me and then steaming off an additional 1,000.
Well, Sean's flop trip aces here. There's 2 diamonds.
Now, Tony's got a 9. Is Tony going to get involved here?
Well, look at this. Sean checked it. I never understand quite about that either. Maybe he's planning on check raising here.
Yeah, the funny thing is if he bets it, he probably gets raised from Tony.
Tony bets 120. Hollywood Russ is in there with the 9. I don't know if you get involved here. Remember, the pre-flop raise was raised out of the line and he's checked it.
Well, he could have queens.
Yeah, he could be sandbagging, but you know, if he's got queens, you're beat anyways with 10-9.
No, yeah.
Yeah, Sean is going to check raise here.
And generally, this is not the way to make money on this hand. The best way to probably make the most money on this hand is to bet it.
Right.
Nobody believes you have it. You bet weak like you have queens. Then Tony thinks, oh, I can get him off with queens. I'm going to raise you.
So he makes it 300 more here.
And
there is absolutely nothing that Tony can beat right now.
It's an easy laydown for Tony. If he calls this, it's half that he's steaming.
I don't know if there's any even. I mean, Sean might have maybe 1,000 left. I don't even know if there's any fold equity if Tony thinks he's check raising with kings or queens here. But
Sean doesn't look like the type of player that you really want to be bluffing, is he? Once again, I haven't really played with him, but
not with my experience.
You were telling me that.
Yeah. Tony's going to get away.
Yeah, and he lets Tony off the hook there. And I really think if he throws a little weak bet in there, the pot was about, what, $250, $200? If you throw a $120 bet in there, you might get Tony to make a play at it.
Rush going, huh? Nice. Thank you.
Button's going to move over here to seat 4. We're halfway through the show. End of another week live at night. Big blind is Dave. Boy, Dave's played really tight over there in seat 7, hasn't he?
Yeah, Dave and seat 1, Mark, they played a combined 5 hands.
Tony's going to bring this one in for 70 here, one off the cutoff of ace 9, and he's going to take it down. Now, tonight's tournament was $50,000 guaranteed, like we said. $100 no limit with rebuys. 358 entries, 665 rebuys. Total prize pool of over 100,000. Boy, I got to tell you, casinos, brick and mortar casinos these days, Dave, they really put their ass on the line when they make these guarantees, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Although
50,000 guarantee. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it came pretty close too.
Yeah. When is the last time there's ever been an overlay in a brick and mortar casino tournament for the guarantee?
Rarely happens.
In no limit hold'em.
I mean, 358 entries with 665. I mean, that's insane.
100.
Russ
I mean, you could buy in for $100 and win 40,000. That's crazy.
Russ is going to make it 100 here with pocket 9s. Couple limpers in front. And not going to get involved.
Take it down, Russ. Yada, yada, yada. So what is tomorrow's tournament? Let's see. Saturday, April 15th. 7 cards, stud high low, starting at 4:15 p.m. And then on Sunday, we have the Extra Sports No Limit Hold'em tournament. And that's a $200 No Limit Hold'em tournament with $2,500 is withheld for the championship round taking place in Las Vegas in December of this year.
Right, they take a collection of the, I think, the winners of those Extra Sports tournaments throughout the year, and they...
Kind of cool. And don't forget, Monday is the last day to get your taxes in, everybody.
Well, a
April 17th.
couple of people have limped in here with some pretty big hands. I mean, Russ has got king, queen suited. He limped in. Seat 5 limped in with 10s. And David is going to raise here with 8-10 of spades. He makes it 120. Now, the other thing here is that I think he's going to get called in every spot
The thing is, once he gets called in one spot, he's going to get called in every spot.
Well, Paul is the only one that doesn't call with 3-5 offsuit.
And I got to tell you, I don't mind the raise anyway, though. Okay, I'm in position here. I don't have a terrible hand.
Six-way action, $750 pot.
Well, he's open-ended.
Ace 9-7, and look who's hit top two. It's Adam. And if I'm Adam, I like a bet here.
But the thing is, watch Adam check it. Now he's going to bet.
No, he's going to bet. I like it. Because if this guy's got ace-king, I think you win a whole bunch.
Yeah, I agree.
And he bets weak. He bets 150 here.
And I got to tell you, if I have 10-8, I'm taking a card. I'm just going to, okay, I'll call.
If you're Tony here, it is 2 flush out there, 2 clubs.
Wow, and...
Wow, Sean is going to call here.
Sean's coming with 10s, with all those players behind him still attack.
And I still think that Dave could even raise. I still think he might raise here, Dave.
Really?
I mean, he's got an open, yeah, I mean, he's got the big semi-bluff, and he's going to raise, and Adam is going to get exactly what he wanted here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a real overplay by David. He's got to, doesn't he see that? Doesn't he realize that this guy might be betting into me, hoping that I raise? People don't see that, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's not something that's commonly done. And Tony makes the call with the same hand, and I think Adam's going to push. I mean, there's a lot of dead money in here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's $2,000 in the pot. It's another $500 for him to call. I think he makes a big re-raise here on a 2-flush board.
All those players in there? You got to push it, man.
You've got to re-raise big. Maybe 2,000, Dave, total.
Oh, push, in the bush.
I say put a stack of white out there, Adam.
Pot is now, what, 15, 16, it's over $2,000.
Yeah.
I'm making a nice $1,500, $2,000 raise here.
15 more.
And he's going to make it 15
there
more.
There you go. That's a nice raise.
15 more. 2,000 is the bet.
Yeah.
And this is well played by by Adam.
Yeah.
Really well played. And I really think that David misplayed the hand. I think David should have taken the card for 150. He said, wow, you know what? I've only got a draw here. If I hit my hand, maybe I can win a big pot. And now he's priced himself out.
And now Tony has priced himself in. He's going to call with a draw. The turn's a queen. Tony needs a jack or a 6.
Nope.
And the river's a deuce.
And Coney goes broke again, and Adam wins it again.
Boy, that's a real loose call by Tony. I mean, you get a bet by Adam and a raise by the pre-flop raiser, and he's kind of short, Tony is, and he just smooth calls.
Well, the original call was very loose, obviously. There's two clubs out there. I think once it folds around to him again, I think he has to call.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So at that point, what is he at, 500?
Right, for sure. He has to call at that point. Yeah.
Pot is like 3,000. He's getting like 6 to 1 on his money.
Nice play there by Adam.
And he played that hand wonderfully. He really did. He bet right into the razor, hoping the razor had ace-king or ace-queen. David fell for it. Really, he probably should have taken a card. Got to realize with all those players. See, even if I'm not scared of Adam, the problem is I raised and I got called in 6 spots. Isn't there a chance somebody else might check raise?
Let me ask you a question. If you've got ace-king, ace-queen, or ace-jack suited there on the button, and Adam bets into you there, you're going to raise on that spot, though, on the button, right? I mean, I think I would, probably at least 75, 80% of the time.
I probably would, yes. I probably raise, and then if he re-raises me, I throw it away.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. But if I have a draw, let's say I did raise at 10-8, and if I raise and 6 people are in there, isn't there a good chance somebody else has ace-king?
Somebody else also might be sandbagging a hand. Yeah,
right. I mean, couldn't somebody be checking it to me, hoping they could check raise me?
Well, Sean's flopped the ass end of it here. He's got 9-10, king, jack, queen on the flop.
I mean, he's in pretty good shape. I mean, nobody's got anything, huh?
100.
He bets 100.
Yeah, he's going to take it down, right? Yeah, I imagine. Tony actually had a gut shot to the 10 there. Tony's now bought him for 6,000. I think he's lost his first, I want to say his first 4. What was Tony's second buy-in? Was that 2 again?
We'll get there. We'll get to that in a second, I think. We're going to be doing a chip count here in a second. Button moves over here to seat 9. It's been a great game here so far tonight.
It really has.
This game has been a lot more interesting than Wednesday's game was this week.
Oh, definitely. Wednesday's game was kind of for a Wednesday game, I got to say it was kind of a bore.
Yeah.
Usually Wednesday games rock. But we came right out of the gate tonight with when Adam sucked out on Ron.
4-way action limped around. Queen 7-3 with a couple of clubs. It's missed everyone.
And nobody has a pair. Mark is the best hand with ace high. Right now he's hit his ace.
And he's going to come out and bet. He bets 80.
Yeah, put a little money in there, why not?
He's in the small blind.
And he'll take this down. Good bet by Mark.
Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com. Dave, you said you're going to be playing a couple deep stack tournaments on PokerStars this weekend?
Yeah, I don't know when, but definitely going to play a couple.
What is it, 4 Pacific time, I think?
I was checking it out. They have like a deep stack one every like 30 minutes.
Here we go. Another chip count. Now we've got over 30,000 on the table.
Yeah, Adam, wow, up to 8,700. I mean, to tell you, when you have an image like his image and you're hitting the cards, it's kind of like Mike, you're going to win a lot of money.
I think Sean has more than 800 in front of him. A lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the differences here. So Adam's up 6,200 here.
Yeah, Sean is probably up about 1,500.
Yeah.
And the rest of the table is really either down or pretty close to even, huh?
Yeah.
Mark is up 700. Wow. When did Mark win hand?
150 more?
Remember, Mark won a big hand before we went on the show. And he's just kind of really played it.
There you go.
That.
There you go.
Russ is going to raise it out of the blind here with pocket queens. Actually, it was the hand when we were introducing the players. He
was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Took down a big pot.
Remember, I was showing you Max had the old C2 had that pocket 5.
So he won a couple $1,000,
yeah.
and he's been kind of working off that the whole night.
Yeah.
I got you. I'm with you. I'm feeling you.
Adam is just on a roller coaster.
And that's, I mean, we've seen it with Mike. I mean, Corporation Mike, I don't like to talk about money too much, but hey, that's what we do. Corporation Mike has gone on streaks where in a 2-week span of time, he's been up $100,000. And then the following 2 weeks, he could lose 50.
Right,
I mean, that's Mike. Because when he's hitting his hands, when the deck hits him, he's going to win a lot of money. And that's kind of like Adam. And Adam could just as easily go on a streak, lose all this money, and an additional $10,000 very quickly.
And seat number 1 here, Mark is going to raise it up pre-flop with pocket 6s from the cutoff. He makes it 80 to go. Tony's going to call with a queen-jack offsuit. And we're heads up here.
What are all the emails? I thrive on our emails.
Ace 3-9 here. Is Mark going to throw a continuation bet out here? Wow, that is real tight post-flop. And it goes check, check. I'm surprised Tony isn't trying to take it away from him. Now Tony hits the best hand. And he's not going to check again here, Tony, I don't think, and now he bets. I mean, you raised there with 6s. I guess, a case can be made, Dave, you're trying to buy yourself the button. A lot of players we see, once they get called on the button, they kind of just shut down. But I still think it's a little bit too tight, isn't it, when an ace appears? Yeah. Isn't that the premium scare card?
It is. I mean, I understand what you're saying, though, in the sense that when you raise and the button calls, if the blinds call you, it's easier to bet you're in position. But you wonder, what did the button call me with?
Button moves over here to Hollywood Russ.
What are you got planned this weekend?
Lots of plans.
Lots of plans. Really?
A little golf.
Are you playing golf?
I'm going to the driving range.
Okay.
It's really tough to play golf at Rancho Park on the weekends.
Oh, yeah. Unless you want to play a 6-hour round.
Yeah.
Sean's hit the best hand here. No ace. He's got 2 pair, aces and 7s with a jack kicker. And it's going to check around. Looks like Russ is going to take a shot at it. Now, the only problem with this by Russ is you wondering, what did Russ not bet on the flop?
We don't have. There's the jack 7. Sean calls.
Yeah, why didn't Russ bet the flop?
River's the king.
And Russ is going to give up.
I got to tell you, though, if I bet that turn and played it that way, and Sean checked to me again on the river,
then
I might take a shot at it with that king coming on the river.
Definitely,
right?
That's definitely a scare card.
I mean,
the 6 is not a scary card, obviously, for somebody holding a 7, but the king is.
Not only would I try to take a shot at the king, but if an 8 came on the river, I think I value bet.
Yeah,
I value bet the 8.
The guy's clearly calling you with probably a 7 or a 6.
There's a look at our $10 chips.
Yeah. They call him brown. Kind of look like orange.
Yeah, like reddish, but they do call him brown. What do they call the $500 chips? What color? Because those are brown.
Large brown, there you go.
80.
Ron's going to bring this one in for 80 here with ace rag suited, ace 9 of diamonds. He's going to take it down.
Take it down by Ron. And this is another spot. Ron is raising an early position with a hand, ace 9
Under
of
the
diamonds.
guns, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a hand, once again, if you get called, you have no idea where you're at, and you're playing a raised pot out of position. I'm not a big fan of that, but hey, it's just my 2 cents. It's always funny. When my wife goes away for a weekend, I always kind of feel like I'm like, all right, bachelor weekend, what am I going to do? All these plans. And then I usually end up sitting at home doing nothing. So I end up looking around going, what do I do? I don't know what to do.
You don't know where. It's funny.
I'm lost.
I've been over your house a couple times when we had some parties when your wife wasn't there. You don't know where any of your like cutlery is.
Oh, I have no
like
idea.
your plates. Yeah, salt, pepper.
My wife was actually kind of cool. She actually made it like a chicken dish for me, so it's in the fridge. So I can eat that when I go home. I'm like, the dogs are like looking at me like, are you going to feed us? I'm like, oh yeah, food. Sorry, hold on.
Do you take the garbage out though? Is that part of your
Yeah, we have our kind of like, she does laundry and ironing. I do all garbage duty, and I pick up the dog shit.
Six-way action here. Limped around. 10-8-5. You also handle the maintenance of your house. Are you a handyman?
Not really, no. My wife's handier than I am. Okay, how about I pay the bills. I pay the bills for the house. I do that. There are other things I do also, but they're unmentionables.
Turns a 6.
I do have some use. Open-ended straight shot with Sean here. But David's going to bet it, and David has got...
Wait,
he's
he
got
flopped
2 pair.
top 2 pair. He didn't bet. Now he bets.
And now the board's getting scarier and scarier for him, isn't it?
Straight possibility. I think a 6 of clubs would have been a little more scary.
Oh, yeah, that's real scary.
Yeah.
And Sean might call this. And he is.
Open-ended straight open-ended straight draw. There were 2 clubs.
Yeah, and if he hits it, is he going to make any money?
Well, the river's a 7.
Now, this is interesting. Oh, no.
Goes check, check.
I was going to say, if Sean bets here, can David call?
Right, but you got to remember, though, I mean, sometimes when those one-liners come in, if you look at that board, like the river's a 7, you know, you think if someone's going to call with a straight draw, it's going to be open-ended. And then all of a sudden, inherently, the 7 looks scary. But if he has a 7, the 7 didn't make him a straight, right?
Right.
So,
It's a good way to think through it.
Yeah, you know.
Well, oftentimes we always point out people will just go, oh, the guy's betting me. What, you called me with a 9? Okay, and you throw it away without actually thinking the hand through and going, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Unless the guy actually had the straight already, had 9-7.
Yeah, my dad actually always paid the bills in our family. I'm an only child, too. But a lot of my friends, though, the mom was like the head of the household. She actually paid the bills as well. Along with that other stuff. It's kind of a, I've heard of it in 2 different, it's not automatically. I think usually the guy takes the garbage out, right?
I do. That's a deal. I take the garbage out. That was the deal when we first started dating, and we actually were going to move in together. I said, I hate doing laundry and ironing. She goes, I'll do that. She goes, I hate garbage. I go, okay, I'll do that. You go from there. Hey, it's all about
Ron is going to raise out of the blind with King 8. And again, it's almost like, I got to tell you, you say Tony's playing it like a tournament. I think Ron is almost playing it like a tournament with some of these blind raises.
Yeah, he really is.
I mean, for what? He's going to pick up, he's in the big blind, so he's not picking up his blind. He's picking up the small blind.
Yeah.
And 2 limpers, Sean and I think Paul, who had position on him. He's risking 150
To win 50.
to win 50. And if you get called, just like A6.
Once again.
Oh.
Well, if you look at the hands Ron has played all night, he's probably played about, 8 hands tonight? 7 of them out of position?
Yeah.
That's tough to make money. The best players in the world don't want to play hands out of position.
Right.
You've got to realize, like in a tournament with escalating blinds, when the rounds are 30 minutes or 45 minutes, you've got to push the action. You have to win those blinds. You've got to steal. You've got to steal antes. You've got to accumulate chips. In a cash game, it's not like that. If you're disciplined and you're patient, you can sit here for hours and wait for the right hand, wait for the right opportunity.
Raise here by Russ. He's going to bring it in with 8-9 offsuit from early position.
I mean, we look at Mark in seat 1, and I'm not saying that he's the best player in the world, but he's only played about 4 hands all night, and he's up $700.
You know, it's funny. I was looking at this post here by Binky saying that rain is no big deal at a Friday before a holiday, and now we're talking about 2 miles an hour on all roads in 100 square mile of LA. You've got a commute that's more difficult than me from Beverly Hills, but today it took me the longest. It took me an hour and 45 minutes to get here from Beverly Hills. My previous record was an hour.
I don't like that.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
hours, nothing.
It was a standstill all the way from Robertson to the East LA interchange.
Oh,
that
man.
took me an hour and 15 minutes. It was
Well, people see the rain and they get scared, and obviously this is being, between Easter weekend as well.
Yeah. Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, when the 10 is backed up from the beach to downtown, that could take you 2 hours to get through there. That 8-mile stretch.
One of these days, I swear, you and I, one of us is going to do this show from the road.
Yeah.
Via cell phone.
Queen Jack 10 here.
Adam has got the bad end of an open-ended straight draw. If a king comes, obviously it's worthless. But he does have the... No, I'm sorry. Sean has the best hand here. Queen deuce. And he's going to bet it. See where he's at.
And
Paul is...
Well, let me throw this out at you. Paul is going to call. Is he looking specifically for the king of clubs here on the turn? Or is he just trying to set up a move?
He might make a move. You never
Yeah.
know. I mean, I don't... He's calling specifically for one card. I mean, that's a...
Well, the turn is a club. I'm thinking maybe he's trying to hit a straight and pick up with this backdoor club draw, and he's picked up the backdoor club draw.
I wonder if he bets no matter what comes out, though. I mean, it's odd that a player would call just for a draw.
Right. He's going to bet 340 here.
And it's an easy laydown for Sean. I mean, obviously he's got the best hand, but I got to tell you, against Paul, out of position against Paul, and what the hell can you beat?
Look at Paul. He kind of went like this. He went, pulled it.
Did he?
Yeah. Kind of moved his head. When I said that, not necessarily literally specifically the king of clubs, but he picked up a draw now, obviously.
Do you think he bets though if he doesn't pick up a draw?
Yeah, I think he was setting up a play.
I mean, the only question here though is Sean's got to realize that I'm not sure if Sean is putting A and B and C together here. If he calls this, and Paul indeed has a real hand, he's going to have to call another 700 or 800 on the river. I just don't understand this.
How about he check raises?
Raising 340.
He's going to check raise. He's going to raise. And this is amazing. And this is why you don't. Now, in this case, obviously, Paul doesn't have a hand, but this is why if you actually don't make moves in a game like this, you really can get paid off big because people are check raising you with queen.
Exactly.
Deuce.
I mean, imagine Paul actually had ace king here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, is Paul
man.
priced in here because, I mean, he still has this club draw.
And he also has a flush draw. He also has a straight draw as well.
Yeah, and he does. He's got the club draw and he has the straight draw. Now, the straight draw is obvious.
He has 12 outs.
And the raise was pretty much a min raise. Sean min raised here.
He's probably getting, 5 to 1 on his money? I think he might want to call, and he does.
And he does call. We've got over about a $1,400 pot here to the river. Here we go to the river.
And there's the
And the
club.
river's the club, and it
And
makes
queen.
Sean trip queens.
Oh, man, I tell you, Sean might go broke here.
Sean checks. But now...
I think Sean is check raising him. I think Sean is looking for a check raise.
Well, and
I
now
really
the
do.
issue, though, for Paul is that does Paul think that this guy might be... Is he a possibility of sandbagging some sort of full house? I don't think he's going to bet. He bets. And Sean calls.
Oh, he does call.
Yeah, he makes the check call, and there's the flush there for Paul. Wow.
Wow. You know the funny thing, too? You look at it and go, well, the pot was already laying him about 4.5, 5 to 1.
Well, with implied odds.
Plus the implied odds of another $500.
Yeah.
Man, he was getting 11 to 1 on his call in the turn. And you just kind of wonder sometimes. You wonder, you kind of say, God bless Chris Moneymaker, right?
Right. I was telling you, Doc out there, I was playing 5-10 with him, and I kind of made a similar call with this on the turn, figuring in my implied odds. You might not have the right odds now, but if you figure, I'm going to call 340. In this case, Paul almost had pure odds.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost had pure odds to the straight and the flush. I mean, he's got 9 club outs, and he has 3 straight outs to the ace.
12 outs,
Yeah.
You've seen 4 cards, your 2 cards, 46 cards out there.
Yeah.
12 good, 34 bad. It's real easy to figure out the math.
Well, I mean, I got to tell you, Sean, if you check raise there and you put Paul on a total bluff, I mean, if Paul hadn't picked up the club draw, Dave, if he hadn't picked up the club draw, there's no way that he would have called the check raise. But because he picked up the club draw.
I mean, I got to hand it to Sean in the sense that, he was, instead of just calling with queen deuce, he was trying to take it away. Now, if he raises a little more, he probably wins the pot right there and then. Just didn't raise enough. And then he ended up losing 500 more on it.
Interesting email here from James Geffler about Sean's tells.
Yeah.
He says that he's picked up some tells on Sean. When he had aces against Adam, he was looking around and tapping his fingers. Then when he flopped trip aces, he went into the same routine.
Looking around, tapping his fingers, yeah. I mean, I'm a big physical tell. I do like looking for physical tells, and there are some that I know. And we like to point them out when we see them.
Yeah.
It's funny, I want to throw something out at you, Bart. You know how a lot of people actually say, they go, hey, do you think you and Dave have a huge advantage because you get to see the players, a lot of the players that you end up playing against during the week? And I wonder if any of these players, and a lot of them watch the show, have a big advantage over us hearing what we say and what we preach and how we play hands.
80 total.
Hollywood Russ is going to raise here with ace-jack offsuit. And seat 8 here, we haven't heard from Alan in a while. He's going to call out of position with 8-6 of hearts here. And we're heads up.
I'm not really looking to call Russ here, but okay.
Well, he's hit top pair here.
The problem is it's Russ raising. I mean, obviously you're going to.
If I was playing against Russ, I'd probably bet out here. And then he's probably just going to fold if he's got overcards. Unless he's going to play it real tricky.
I don't really want to check raise this hand. Exactly why. Yeah. If you check raise, let's say Russ puts 150 in there. Now you've got to check raise up to 400.
Well, look at this. Russ is going to min raise. He min raises here to 300. So Russ is actually raised just with overcards.
That's an interesting play by Russ. It's kind of a limit hold'em play in the sense that he's raising in here. And if Alan calls, Russ might get a free card on the turn. I mean, a free river card. And Russ might win it right there.
There it is.
And that's the problem, kind of like calling with a hand like that heads up against a tight player.
Well, what I always like to say when I try to explain it to people, I actually had a discussion with a guy online a couple nights ago on
Hey, it's a Russ, man. Look at that smile. Look at that. He's really enjoying himself here. This is the new and improved Russ. Sorry, go ahead.
I had a discussion with a guy who was talking to me in the chat on Fold Tilt, asking me, do you think we have an advantage because we see some of the players? And it's not the players that we see, the reason why we have the advantage. It's the amount of hands that we see. I think one hand's analysis equals 10 hands of live play. It's almost the same advantage that someone has because they play so much on the internet. They might see 10 times the amount of hands. But the advantage that we have over internet players is that we're seeing the equivalent to 10 times the amount of hands, but in live play, as opposed to internet play.
Raise here from Adam here. We haven't heard him in a while.
Raise with pocket eights.
He's going to take it down. I understand what you're saying. It's the old adage of if you read something, you learn, say, 30% of it. If somebody teaches it to you, you learn 50% of it. But if you teach it, you learn 90%.
Right.
So forth. And obviously analyzing the play obviously really forces us to learn.
Well, because I think that one of the weaknesses of my game, again, when I'm playing, is that I'm not always 100% attuned to the table that I'm sitting at. I mean, sometimes I look at it and I don't even know. I don't know what happened in the last hand because I wasn't necessarily fully paying attention.
Right.
You know, did this guy check the flop with his trip? He showed down a set here at the end, but what did he do? What was the action before that?
Might this guy be steaming because he just lost a big pot?
Here you're forced to do that, obviously. So.
And this, once again, another tournament move here by Ron. And I mean, he's raising an early position with pocket sevens, and now he got called.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you said that Mark overvalued some of these Broadway hands. King Jack.
There you go.
King Jack offsuit here from second position. He
well,
makes
that's the
the
thing.
raise.
And he's well, no, he didn't make the raise.
I mean, he makes the call to the raise.
He calls
right.
an under the gun raise
right.
by a tight player with King Jack, and that's what I was talking about, Mark. Clearly overvaluing Broadway cards.
Four-way action here. Jack 5-5. Now Russ, he called with kind of another trap hand, sometimes ace jack. Hey, you know what? Ron shuts down with sevens. Not a bad flop for sevens. And look at this. Mark is going to come and bet 300. Now, what hand would Mark have called the raise with and now lead on the flop? I don't put him on a 5. I think he has a jack. And if I'm Russ, I might make a little min raise.
I definitely raised this up.
But he just called.
You don't put Mark on queens, kings races. There's no way.
Yeah.
You just don't put him on queens. If he has kings, queens races, All the power to you.
Well, you know what, though? Russ might get the same information because he called and everybody folded behind him.
Yeah.
Now, the turn's at 10.
Well, it's not a scary board.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not scared of a straight draw or a flush draw, obviously, so nothing wrong with that.
800.
The turn's at 10 here. He bets 800. And I think Russ is going to move all in here.
Wow, look at this. This is the... I gotta tell you,
he only has 900.
I love this play by Russ. Russ used... 5 months ago, Russ throws this away. It's a great play by Russ.
I don't know. He threw away ace-jack here?
I think he would have. He might have to a big bet. He goes, you know what? You must have queens. I'll throw it away. You must have a 5. I'll throw it away.
And look at this. And Mark makes the call, and the river is an 8. It was only 100 more, and Russ is going to take it down here with the ace-jack. And the funny thing there is that I didn't realize Russ's chip stack. But actually, I like the call now on the flop because if he min raises, he's almost pot committing himself if somebody comes over the top. If he calls and something happened bigs behind him, like there's 2 people, he can get away from it.
Yeah.
But now he calls, and now the other 2 people fold.
Yeah, leave that on 1 second there. Actually, in retrospect, the more I think about it, my first inclination to raise is actually wrong because you look at the flop, it's jack 5-5.
Right.
There's no straight draw, there's no flush draw. You're in position. Why not smooth call and see what the turn brings?
Well, and also, you've got those 2 people behind. Once they fold, I think now you 100% know you have the best hand on the turn.
You never know if Ron, the original raiser, was sandbagging a big hand.
Right.
And might he come over the top?
The only thing that might have killed you, but I'm still going to commit, is for some reason if seat 1 has jack 10 suited and 10 comes on the turn. But at that point, hey, poker's a little bit of luck too.
If the guy's got 3 outs,
right,
I'm willing to give him 1 shot at it, you know? But once again, we see there, I pointed it out early, and we hadn't seen it from Mark yet, but he overvalues those Broadway cards. And in this case, King Jack easily dominated hands, and he ends up going broke with really a bad hand. And back to Ron's play there, and I know he's going to watch this. Pocket 7's early position raise. I'm not sure what the value of that is. You get called. Okay, if you don't hit your set, what do you do then? Once again, I don't really want to play hands from out of position. This is not a tournament. There's really no value stealing those blinds.
Limped around here. 3-way action. $60 pot. Queen, Jack 6, rainbow. Nobody has anything here.
Go.
It's going to get checked around. Turns a 9.
Go.
And the river's at 10.
Wow, look at that.
And
Mark makes a straight.
Yeah, Mark backs into a straight here.
Not going to make any money here.
Well, it's a 3rd diamond. He checked it with 1 person to act.
Sean's not going to bet this, is he?
Yeah, Sean's going to try. He's going to bet the bottom end of it on the 8.
Betting 120.
He bets 120 here.
And it's just a call here by Mark. You can't raise this with just a king, can you? No way. And he calls. Takes it down with the king. Interesting email here from Mark Stalkup. He says, hey, what are your guys' thoughts about getting up from the table in the middle of the session? Basically, he says, I've noticed that from watching that the people who are currently winning get up and take breaks. But it seems like the people who are losing can't get up. And you're 100% correct. And it is kind of counterintuitive in the sense that if you're losing, you probably do want to take breaks. You probably should get up and kind of, collect your thoughts. Maybe splash some water on your face.
Button's going to move over here to seat 8. Again, that is Alan, the orthopedist. Is that the word? Orthopedist. Straddle here by seat 4. And Ron is, I think Ron's getting up and leaving here in seat 9. He's out of here.
Are you leaving?
Man, it's finished eating. He's got to get back to poker now. I mean, that's what we're doing, right?
Yep, he's out of here.
Sometimes it will get charged. We'll see what happens.
And Ron did not really have that good of a day, right?
No, he did. Well, I mean, it's tough to play no-limit cash games from out of position, and that's pretty much what he did all day. Interesting email here from the Duke, and he says, email fodder we're looking for. He talks about Evelyn Ing, and we'll get to that in just a second.
Straddle pot, and it's limped around 4 ways. So it's a $160 pot here, 4 ways. Ace, 9, 8, a couple clubs. Queen Jack's got a gut shot to the 10. Sean's got the best hand here with middle pair, King 9. It gets checked over to David, and he's going to bet. He's going to bet 100 here. Now, is Sean going to get involved? If you were going to play King 9, I would rather have bet the flop and see where I was at as opposed to check call.
Yeah.
But he gets rid of it.
Take it away. Anyway, I think he's kind of defending Evelyn in here, basically. He says, I loved how you decided, and I like the criticism as well. I really like to keep it fresh here. He says, more updates on your least favorite poker goddess, Evelyn A. I loved how you decided the other night that she was all legs and no skill, and then proceeded to furiously search the internet to determine what an unsuccessful tournament player she is. And then, in an act of unparalleled modesty, told us how you'd have a ton of cashes too if you entered 100 tournaments. I actually think Evelyn Ng is a good poker player. I've only played with her. I actually played with her twice, both times with limit hold'em, 81-60 games. And she seemed like a pretty solid limit hold'em player. My only point is, she is now one of the most famous poker players out there. And does she deserve that?
Right.
It has nothing to do with her poker play. She's probably a really good poker player. I don't know her that well. But does she deserve all the fame and all the accolades she is getting? Probably not.
Sean made an early position limp with ace-king suited, and he's going to play the limp re-raise here with ace-king. It's about another maybe 400 or so. Allen brought this one in with ace-jack from mid-position. Adam called in early position with ace-4, and Sean pulls the limp re-raise all in. And 3 of the aces are dead here.
I think it's a pretty easy laydown for Allen, and it's an even easier laydown for Adam. Ace-jack is just not good enough to race with here. You probably have 3 outs. You're just not sure what you're looking for, and why gamble? Throws it away. I mean, if the pot is laying you an awful lot of money, I guess you can go for it. But
now, these are the types of hands, even in tournaments, you have to realize ace-rack is never going to be a favorite by that much.
Right, well,
you're only going to be losing by a lot, not a favorite by that much.
The only thing I'll throw at you now, let's say the pot is laying you like 5-1 because the guy's doesn't have that much money. There's a lot of big blinds and a lot of antes. You can sometimes call if it's not going to affect your chip stack.
Well, in this case, it was an $80 raise, $80 call, and an $80 call, and a move in for another 400. So that means
pot
it's
$640?
a $640 pot, 400 to call.
So you're getting 1.5 to 1 on your money. That's not enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really appreciate the email from the Duke. My biggest point is I'm just saying there are a lot of women. It's not a sexist thing. I love the accolades poured onto women. I have no problem with that. But I think there are more qualified women out there that probably deserve the fame that she gets. And if we're going to call a spade, let's be honest and say, why is she getting these accolades? It's because she has legs that go on forever.
Well, was there ever really any debate about that?
Exactly. I never doubted that either. Obviously, people think she's good looking. She's got legs. She's got a great body. She's 6'1", you know.
You know,
that's pretty much it.
The funny thing about that hand with ace-4 there, a lot of people got after Moneymaker for making a call against Dutch Boyd in the 2003 World Series with pocket threes. But remember, that was after a rag flop. Moneymaker checked, Boyd moved all in, and Moneymaker thought he had high cards and he called. I always got after Moneymaker when he made a call, I think, against that Swedish guy.
No, I know you're talking about
ace-deuce.
Yeah.
I mean, that was unbelievable.
Guy, right?
Yeah,
What's that
yeah.
guy's name?
I don't remember off the top of my head. Tumor, Venisti or something like that.
Yeah, Tumor Venisti, whatever it is. Ace-deuce calling it all in.
Let's get to this in a second. Mark is raised here. Adam, I believe, re-raised. Sean called, and Mark called. So $200 re-raise by Adam. We've got a $900 pot going in the flop. Ace-Jack-9. And look at this, Adam's flopped the set. And he's going to bet real weak. He bets 100.
And Sean calls?
Sean's going to call with a gut shot to the 10 here. And is this going to get Mark in here?
Mark's got backdoor diamonds. And he's going to call.
Wow.
Problem with Mark does not have that much money.
$100 into a $900 pot. $1,200 here to the turn. And the turn is a queen. It's the queen of diamonds. I think Adam needs to push hard here. Look at the draws out there.
Yeah, now you really need to. And Mark might commit himself here. Mark now has a straight draw.
I think Adam needs to throw out at least a $900 bet to this $1,200 pot.
Yeah, you've gotten 2 callers. You've got to assume these guys are around that flop. That queen is a scary card. If somebody was in there with king 10, they've got you beat now. And he is going to put a $700 bet.
He bets.
Oh, 500. Wow, that is really
That's
weak.
only 500?
I thought it was 7.
Well, I don't know if that's enough there.
No, if you're Mark might push.
Well, I think Adam's going to call. But the point is that if Mark is really deep, I got to tell you, if I'm Mark and I'm really deep here against Adam, I don't push, I call. and try to bust it if he's got a big hand and hit backdoor diamonds or straight, right? You don't want to raise and get pushed off of this big draw.
Right, but the only question is though, is right now we know Adam's got it set.
Right.
Adam's playing it kind of weak. Couldn't Adam have a weak ace? Couldn't you get him off this weak ace? If it's like ace. Let's say Adam's got like ace 10 or ace 8.
I got to tell you though, from what we've seen tonight, actually, it doesn't matter because Mark doesn't have any chips anyways. But what we've seen tonight, when Mark is bet weak, when Adam's bet weak, he's had a monster.
Yeah, Mark's a 4-1 dog here.
Here we go to the river.
Nope, not going to get there.
3, and Adam is going to win it there with a set of jacks.
Yeah, and Mark called that $100 bet on the flop. Kind of said, okay, well, I'll bite. Picked up a draw and then goes broke.
Well, and I was gonna get on Mark a little bit. I was like, look how an aggressive player opens up a tight player's game. Mark in there with King 9. Mark actually was the original raiser, I believe. Adam re-raised him. But again, it was that situation where Adam kind of made a mini re-raise. So you're sitting there and it's like, well, I'm in position. I got another caller in between. Can I make this call with King 9 of diamonds? Actually, in that case, Mark only had about 800 left, so probably maybe not.
If you think your opponent is weak, if you think maybe he missed and he had queens or something like that, why not push?
Well, I'm talking pre-flop, though.
Pre-flop was an easy laydown.
Yeah.
King 9 is a terrible hand.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is he was a lot deeper. We talk about how that mini raise out of the blind. I think you might even be able to call there and see what happens if you're very deep. But he wasn't deep.
I'm not even playing King 9. What do I want to hit with King 9?
Right.
10 Jack Queen so I can lose my whole stack to an Ace King? Once again, I want to thank everybody for the emails, whether they're good or bad. We really appreciate them.
New player coming into seat number 9 there, Dave. It's Bobby. We're familiar with him. He's really taking a shot at this game. It is like the Sahara Desert in here. How are you still wearing this jacket?
I'm nice and comfortable, man. I'll tell you.
Jack 6-7 here.
Nice flop of Adam, huh?
Club draw and a pair. Now Mark here, he's got a pair of 6s.
What did Mark rebuy for?
I haven't gotten word. 1,000. He's rebought the minimum.
Betting 200.
I was going to wonder if Mark might make this call and steam off, but he's not going to get involved with it.
I got to tell you, Adam might become a regular on these games because he's been killing the Friday game. Last week he won 9,000, and tonight he's probably up close to the same.
Interesting email here from Scott McQuarrie. He says, I have a couple questions for you guys tonight. I never raise pocket pairs below 10 in early position. What do you think about that? Also, I'd like to know how you handle ace-king from the big blind and the small blind. And I'd also like to know how much you guys raise. And answer to A, B, and C, it all depends, right?
Yeah, and you know what, Scott? Check out, I hope you're a subscriber, because if you're a subscriber to the archives, you can look for the Inside Straight. The Inside Straight is a new feature we have going on. We have the March episode already in there, and it is kind of a poker roundtable where Bart and I will talk to some local poker professionals, sometimes big, sometimes smaller, and we'll kind of throw your emailed questions out to the forum, and we'll all debate them and talk about it. So you can check that out. If you want to subscribe to the archives, go to liveatthebike.com, top left-hand corner, you can click on the archives, and for just about 50 cents a day, you can get every single show we've ever done, plus the Inside Straight, plus commentary, plus interviews. I mean, everything we've ever got.
Well, Adam bet the flop. Sean called him with a gut shot to the 8, and now Sean is backed into top pair. Adam bets 80, and Sean calls. Now, if Adam hits an 8 here, he makes the bottom end of the straight. He checks blind. And there it is, the river's an 8. He made the bottom end of the straight. And now is he going to call with the bottom end of the straight here? I assume Sean's probably going to move in. And there you go. A bet and a call. That 8 really screwed Adam that hand.
Adam pays him off.
It might have, you know what? It might have even gone check, especially if an overcard comes to that 10. Sean probably checks it down.
Oops. Oh, kind of cool. We've got Danny Masterson in the house from That 70s
With
show.
Laura Prepon?
It's okay.
Is that what you said, Evelyn? Yeah.
Oh, Laura's here too.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Have any cold water over there?
That's it, okay? That's all you get. Jesus. You whine more than George now.
Oh, please.
You whine more than SP Surfin' Michael.
Oh, no, don't go there. He's kidding, Michael. He's kidding. Bud moves over here to seat 7. I wonder how big Laura and Dan play in cash games.
I played with Laura. I've actually played Laura with her in the 3 to 5 game.
Bud moves over here to seat 7.
You ever watch that 70s show?
Very, very occasionally.
Yeah.
Terrible, dude. Terrible.
Do you?
I can't say. I don't watch it very often. I mean, I actually went up for it.
Oh, really?
I did. Like 5 years ago, I had an audition for it. 6 years. That was a while ago.
Queen Jack 3 here with a couple diamonds.
Betting 50.
A $50 bet here by Bobby. Bobby's bet here with a queen.
Heads up.
And we're heads up. Sean's called with pocket ace. The turn is the ace of hearts.
Sean Hans. Actually, Bobby's still good here. And what do you think of our lineup tonight? I mean, it's actually a pretty juicy game, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Paul, seat 6, probably the best player in the game, has really not gotten a good chunk of it at all tonight. And Bobby's going to take this down with Queen 6. He's going to be content checking that down, obviously. And he takes it down with the weak queen there. Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You can catch us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time.
But moves over here to seat 8.
Live straddle.
Okay, straddle here from Russ. We're trying to get the correct pronunciation of Laura Prepon's last name.
Is it? Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I'll ask her. I'm not shy.
Raising.
Go up there and go, hey, how do you say your last name?
Bobby's going to raise here.
People say it to me all the time. They go, hey, is it Tushman?
Yeah,
Tushman?
Douchman.
Dushman? How do I say your last name?
Bobby's raised here with ace 10 of diamonds.
How am I supposed to know how to say her last name? I don't know. I mean, I've seen it in print, but I don't know.
I had one too, but I hid my kicker on it. I'm sure you do.
I'm waiting for SP Serpent to respond to that latest one.
Oh, no.
I hope I haven't offended him to the point where he's not watching.
Yeah.
I hope he knows I'm kidding. He must know, right?
Oh, okay. Bud moves over to seat 9. Two king queen hands here. Seat 1 and seat 3. Couple limpers limped around.
Raising.
And seat number 1 is going to raise here. King queen offsuit. He makes it 80 to go here. Russ is going to call. Sean is going to call with ace rag wheel card. David's going to call 7-10 of spades, and you know what? That's going to bring Bobby in here. And once again, raising here at 80. Once one caller calls, everybody calls. And what do you do here with king queen offsuit from the blinds?
Yeah. I think obviously king queen a little bit better than, say, also 2 players were absent from the table, so it is a 7-handed game.
Well, Sean's hit top pair. He checks it. It's going to get checked to David, and David's going to take a shot at it with his image. You wonder. I don't know if he can get Sean off the hand.
Yeah, the only problem with David's hand here is he's on a completely naked bet. I mean, he's got no escape hatch.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had some sort of draw, but that board is completely drawless. The only thing nice about betting this is if you get called, you know somebody's got a piece of it. You know somebody's not on a draw.
I guess he's got the possibility or spades and a backdoor straight.
Yeah, I don't know if Sean's going to call this. Sean might get away from this because it's David betting.
Which always, begs the question, why are you in there with ace-4?
Yeah.
And Sean does get away from it. So David's picked his spots a couple times to try to steal. Yeah. I know you weren't a big fan of that raise on the button with 8-10 when the flop came out with an ace.
Well, I love the raise pre-flop.
No, on the flop.
I love the raise pre-flop. I thought that was great. I thought the raise on the flop was you kind of fell for the trap, basically. Adam set the trap and you got snared.
I like this email here by Richard T. He says, Dave, does Britney Spears deserve all the fame she receives? There are a lot of people who don't deserve the fame they receive, yet mostly Americans are quick to reward those not as deserving as others. It's part of our culture.
Yeah, well, you know what? Here at Live at the Bike, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to start exposing these frauds for who they are. Bullshit. I'm done with it, okay? Christ almighty.
Bobby's got aces here.
I'm jealous of nothing, okay? There's nothing to do with jealous. I don't want to be famous.
Ray's making 120 total.
He's going to make it 120 to go.
I just want money. I want money, and then I want to move to Montana.
Live
like a hermit.
Yeah. Russ is going to call with pocket sevens, one of these, aces cracker type hands. Here we go to the flop. Paul is not in the hand, and there's the 7. King, 7 deuce. Let's see how Russ plays it.
And poor Bobby, And
he's kind of short. $250 bet here. How is Russ going to play?
Poor Bobby. I think he's just too short to get away from this, and I think he's going to live broke. I can't imagine him.
Russ mini check raises here.
Raise, make it 500 total.
And Bobby moves all in, and Russ calls.
And Bobby's in really bad shape.
I got a set. What do you want to do?
I got a set. Oh, shit.
I know. I was kind of hoping you were on a flush draw, man. You're not on a flush draw?
They're going to run it. They're actually going to run it 3 times here. Turns a queen.
Not that time.
Oh, shit.
I know exactly. And we always talk about what hands you win a lot of money with. It's sets, guys.
Yeah,
sets and straights.
Oh, yeah, Paul folded.
Oh, there it is.
That's the case ace. Paul folded ace-9 pre-flop.
Yeah. And Russ is going to take 2/3 of the pot. There you go. Now, in response to Richard T. here, I'm not a Britney Spears fan. I'm going to assume you're not either, Bart.
Don't assume anything.
Okay, well, if you are a Britney Spears fan, just lie and tell me you're not a Britney Spears fan, okay? Anyway, but for whatever reason, millions of people do like her and like her music, okay? So I guess in that sense, she does deserve the fame as a singer.
Do you like Christina Aguilera?
I would get 4 and he would get 2.
No, not really.
No? I always thought that Christina Aguilera was actually a pretty decent singer.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan, I gotta be honest. But hey, for whatever reason, though, Britney Spears has a huge fan base, a huge following, and people like her. Hey, to each their own, that's fine. But if you're a poker star, you should be able to rest on your poker achievements, right?
Yeah, but I think what the guy's point is, and I can't agree with him more, is that Britney Spears, I think the point is, she's not that great of a singer. I bet you can find thousands of female singers that are better than her. But she gets the fame because of her looks and the way that she presents herself, and I guess the way that she markets herself.
Well, let me ask you this, though.
So,
are they marketing Britney Spears as kind of a sex pot, right? That's what they're marketing her as. But Evelyn Ng, for whatever reason, people are marketing her as, oh, wow, she's one of the top women players out there.
I don't know, but that's where I might disagree with you. I don't know if anybody assumes. I think you're getting all bent out of shape kind of over nothing. I don't think anybody assumes that. Anybody who's familiar with poker, I don't just argue with you.
No,
I think it's kind of the same thing,
Yeah. It was just funny. I had this competition with I was actually talking to my sister about this, and she was like, with that Evelyn Ng, she's like, she's a great poker player.
Well, here we go. Look at this. Russ is called the raiser. Alan's got aces. Now, Russ has top pair. Is he going to get involved? 8-9 deuce. And Alan's going to come out and bet about the pot. He bets 200 here.
Well, Russ, he took out the aces just before. Let's see if he can do it again.
Now, again, if you're deep stacked, you might call one time, see what happens on the turn.
Yeah, I don't think your hand is strong enough to raise this one.
He raises. He makes it 500 here.
And he's been raising Alan all night long. He's been raising Alan all night long.
Well, once Alan calls, Russ almost needs to take almost a card on the turn, doesn't he?
Definitely.
Yeah. Get yourself a free card.
There's no way Jack 9 can be good.
Especially if he picks up a draw. Say like a 10 comes on the turn.
Oh, yeah. 10 or a 7.
10, a 7, or a spade.
Oh, yeah, any of those cards.
I mean, he can pick up a draw.
Alan might move in, though.
this point, he might be like, you know what? You got a set, you got me. You got the best of me. I'm not going to give you any free cards if you're raising with overcards and a spade draw.
And look at that, he just calls him, and Russ has to know to take a free card now.
He's got to take a free card, especially if he picks up a draw. About a $1,500 pot going to the turn.
Oh, wow.
Oh, now.
Russ is drawing dead.
Yep, that's it. I don't think you check this if you're Allen. I think you come out and bet.
Well, yeah, you price him. If he's on a draw, you bet him in.
Well, now you hope that Russ has a set and he can't get away from it.
Yeah.
Betting 400.
He bets 400.
And,
I mean, it's disastrous if Russ raised you a spade and you make 3 aces and you check it to him. He checks behind you and a spade comes on the river.
Exactly, and you have to, just in case he was raising on the draw.
No.
I mean, okay, I'm going to leave this to rest after this last thing.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm bashing the hell out of Evelyn Ling, but I've got to be honest, she's actually a really nice person. I've met her, and she actually is a really good poker player. Okay, I'll leave it alone.
Thank you, player. Good luck.
Don't come back.
I mean, I guess I got to live with the fact, sex sells, and I'm fine with that. I'm a guy.
No point sitting there and being and checking call mode.
Let's take a look at the chip count here. $33,000 here. Look at Adam. He's up to 9,600.
Wow, what a night.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, the turn comes at
Let's take a look at the differences.
You're in big trouble.
$7,100 here. Adam is up.
I mean, over the last 2 weeks, he's up 16,000 in this game.
Tony's been away from the table now for a long time. I don't know what he's doing.
His chips are in jail? Is that what you said? I heard you say?
I overheard somebody say that. And Adam has been frequently away from the table in short spurts as well. He raised ace-7 offsuit. Again, I really don't like to raise. I would really rather raise with middle suited cards on the button than ace rag. Sometimes I don't even get involved with ace rag. I just think that, again, I mean, you can say that ace is better heads up, but if you flop an ace and you bet and you get your call, I mean, how much money you're going to put in that pot? And remember, ace rag is just not a connected hand at all.
Yeah, ace rag, we always talk about ace rag, win a small pot, lose a big one.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Michael's still there. Okay. And yes, Michael, I'll buy you the drink. You provide the cigars. Actually, my wife's away this weekend. That would be perfect this weekend.
$80 raise here by Russ from the cutoff. King, queen, and diamonds. Adam has called him with pocket threes. Allen's in there with 9-10 of diamonds, and Bobby's in there with ace-5 of hearts. So if diamonds come out, it could be interesting. Here we go. King 9 deuce.
Oh,
lucky for us, it's not King 9-3.
Yeah.
You wonder, now Russ gets deeper. You wonder if he could get away from it. If Adam showed some strength,
Yeah, I mean, this is the new, more aggressive Russ.
Right.
And I got to tell you, I really like the way he's played tonight.
Yeah.
I really do. Hey, if Tony doesn't show up, can we just assume that he left the chips as a tip for the Live at the Bike crew? Anybody vote yay? I vote yay. There it is, $1,000 right there.
Tomer Ben-Vinisti is actually from Israel, not Sweden. That's from Mark Durant. Thank you
very much, Mark.
Says, what does Russ do for a living? He's actually in real estate, like kind of a real estate broker type. Works for developers and contractors and such. There you go.
And you call yourself a UMass fan? He says, Bart, UMass is actually located in Amherst, not Springfield.
If I said Springfield, I apologize.
As you erroneously said while answering my question last week.
Amherst. The real question is, can Mark Durant remember the 92 tournament where UMass actually squeezed in as a 3 seed and got to play their first 2 rounds in Springfield, and then in the Sweet 16 got knocked out by Kentucky after the refs called a bullshit technical foul for John Calipari jumping out of the coach's box. How often is that called?
Very interesting story. Button is over in seat 7. Small blind is Allen. Big blind is Ron. Actually, big blind is Bobby. Sorry. And action is over to Sean. And Sean looks like he's going to... No, is he limping in there? He limped in. Queen 10. And seat number 7, and this is a play. David is on the button with King Queen. Why not raise there?
Jack 3-3, or if he did, he would probably bet and take it down.
I mean, if you're going to raise with 10-8 of spades, why not raise with king-queen on the button? I don't understand that. Especially against the blinds and only one player.
Well, he takes a card, he hits a king, and he's got the best hand now. Well, Sean's open-ended now.
I mean, the funny thing is, if he raises, Alan probably calls him. Bobby might even call with a weak ace, and he still might take it down on the flop, just betting. It's a continuation bet.
That's 40 here, and I think Sean is going to call. If Sean actually check-raised here, I think he would probably take it down. And the river's an ace, and Sean gets there. He needs to bet here. This is an obvious. You have to bet the straw, because an ace is an overcard to everything here, right? And, you know, David might think that Sean might have sandbagged at 3 the whole time. I don't know.
Of course. Not much you can beat there with king-queen, is there?
He's going to bet. And David throws right. Interesting email here from Thomas Boldrick. He said, Bart, the hand that you talked about is a reference to the book on bluffs. Moneymaker states he had a physical tell on Tomer, mainly because he sat uncomfortably, and guessed that his raise was out of line and made the call. The point I am making is that I believe that Tomer actually raised with Jack 10.
Jack 10, yes.
I mean, ace deuce, okay, if you got a physical tell on the guy that he's weak, the point I was making is how overvalued ace rag becomes sometimes, especially when people don't, you know, commonly or correctly understand the odds when a board is totally run. Ace deuce is never going to be more than a 58% favorite against any hand with the exception of pocket deuces, right?
Yeah, I mean...
60.
I mean, against pocket threes, Dave, you're a big dog.
Alan raises it to $60 with ace 3. Sean calls with jack 7 suited. And flop comes out. Both of them hit a little bit of it. Sean's got top pair.
Yep.
And Alan is going to make a little continuation bet. And is Sean going to raise him up here? Sean just calls. I have something to say about that actually in a second. 9 of spades on the turn, and now Sean's hand is getting even better. He's got a spade draw with his 7.
Yep.
Alan needs an ace. That is not a spade or a 3, so he's got 2 outs. He's got 4 outs to the win. That's it.
And Alan's going to bet again here.
90.
Well, that's a weak-ass bet.
That's 90, and Sean calls. And the river's a spade, and Sean backs into a flush.
And I think you betted here. You hope that your opponent was betting. You hope that he had like 8s or jacks or something like that.
Of course you bet this.
The way Alan was playing it, though, it almost screamed like he was betting like some sort of really weak hand.
Sean checked it?
Yeah, he checked
I
it.
don't understand that at all.
Wow, that's real surprising. Anyway, I was going to say, now, okay, I'm going to just draw this at you.
I don't want to scare
Chris Moneymaker had a tell on Tomer that he was weak. I don't know about you, and I don't know about Tomer, but if I was raising with like ace 8, wouldn't I be uncomfortable that I was raising with something as weak? I mean, isn't ace 8
4 or ace 3?
Are you
kidding me?
I mean, if it's an ace smaller than say ace 10, I'd probably be squirming in my seat.
I don't know at that point what the antes and the blind sizes were, because apparently this guy James Geffler emailed us, and Moneymaker had raised under the gun, so I guess Tomer re-raised all in. So, you know, maybe the pot was laying Moneymaker like 2.5 or 3 to 1, where in that case, if you figure your ace isn't dominated, but again, against any pocket pair, you're going to be like a 2 or 3 to 1, 2 to 1
Well, I mean,
dog, you know?
and that's the thing I was going to say. Wouldn't Tomer, what happens if Tomer was re-raising all in with pocket 4s?
Right.
He'd be squirming because he's weak there too.
Absolutely.
I mean, with ace deuce, you are either a very, very small favorite or a big dog.
And there's never a time where you're a big favorite, ever, except against pocket deuces.
Yeah.
That one hand.
But like you said, I mean, obviously, I don't know how much money the pot was laying Moneymaker.
Adam raised it out of the straddle spot with deuce 5 to 200 more. He gets a call by Paul and by Sean. Wow, and Paul's got trip aces here, ace, queen, ace.
Yeah, nobody's got anything, though. It's not going to make any money, is he?
Adam checked it.
Check UC5.
What is
Sean
going to do?
is he going to make a little bet here? Looks like he is. Cutting out chips. No, he's going to check. That's always a tell, by the way. Cut out chips and then check. That means I'm weak.
And I like this bet by Paul. I think you try to make Adam try to bluff you here.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a chance that Adam might bluff here.
Yeah, and that's, look at it. Adam's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Adam, see, it's funny. Adam is like one step ahead he's one step ahead of players like David or a couple other players at this table.
Right.
But Paul is one step ahead of Adam. Yeah.
Oh, Adam gets away from it. Called at 500 here. And again, for Sean, you can't make this call because even if Paul is doing this as a bluff, your hand is would still almost be only a slight favorite, right?
Well, I mean, I guess
Paul didn't have any pair.
Right, what if Paul is making this move with like pocket sevens, though?
What I'm saying, like King Jack, even. I mean, you know what I mean?
Overcards with a gut shot?
Yeah,
I mean, no way you can call that with threes. I guess it's so like, it's kind of like the in thing to do to bash Robert Marconi and Chris Moneymaker because they were like the lucky ones, right? I got to tell you, anybody that wins the World Series Championship main event has to be a good poker player. And anybody that wins it also has to get incredibly lucky.
I think we're going to get somebody to play over Tony. Is it George the Greek Poker God? Got an email here from William Sanders saying, do you ever drink while playing poker? How about keeping the atmosphere light so your opponents don't play better because you're so serious? Will from Chicago. P.S. Did you enjoy your trip to Chicago? I haven't gone on it yet. That's next month.
When are you going? Next month? Yeah. And Bart will drink the occasional beer.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm really cutting back. As you go bigger in no limit, I think in a limit, I don't think it makes all that much difference. Look, David has flopped the nut straight here. Jack 10. Let's see if he puts money in it here from mid position. Check to Sean. And everybody checks. Turns to king. Well, and no one caught up with that hand.
Oftentimes you want to bet that.
You hope to get called by Sean.
Sean will call you, right?
Yeah,
now he might not call.
And what if Sean calls and then the turn's a 6 and now Sean bets into you on the turn? Yeah. Right? Oh, he's checked it again?
You also want to
checked it again, Dave.
Yeah, you want to give a player like Sean a chance to make a play at you. Let's say you bet it and Sean wants to make a move on you because he has an opening straight draw.
And look at Russ. The funny thing here is I didn't notice it. Russ flopped the ass end of it. He checked it twice as well.
200.
And look at this. Russ bets, Adam raises, I believe. And I guess David's going to get a little bit more money, but, well, actually, excuse me, David raised. A call.
Adam just called at the A7. Yeah. And they both folded. So he made 160 on the pot.
Russ actually never bet either.
He made 160 on it. Now, let me throw this at you. If David bets it right out, if David bets it out right away, might Russ even raise?
Yeah.
Or might Russ just smooth call?
I didn't even see that he had flopped the bottom end of the straight.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I don't.
I mean, you've got.
There are times to slow play,
but you have to build the pot up there. The ideal spot for you is to have Jack 10, to build a little pot up on the flop, to get a guy with a 10 to call you, and for a 6 to come off on the turn.
Well, that's the funniest thing is if he bets $120 on the flop, Russ either calls or raises, right?
Right.
Seat number 5 probably calls. You might even get Adam to call with A7.
Right.
Suddenly the pot is like $600-700. Now somebody might make a move at it because the pot is worth making a move after.
Right. I mean, if anybody takes anything from our show, it is to bet your hands. And pretty much to never slow play, except in very, very select situations.
There are situations to slow play.
Right.
You know, if you think your opponent's on a complete bluff, a player like Adam, a player like Corporation Mike, and you're in position against them, hey, and you think they're going to bluff off their money to you, why not let them? You don't want to let them off the hook.
Sean made a raise here, or is it Alan that made a raise?
No, I'm saying if you wouldn't.
Couldn't quite tell. Alan has Sean dominated. And Sean's flopped the flush draw with overcards.
Great email here from Riley Matthews here. Dave, there are poker rooms in Montana as well. See you there.
Sean bets. And Alan folds. Right, those select times you talk about slow playing, but, you know,
there are times.
I gotta tell you, you know, still some of the players that I respect that are making the transition to no limit, I mean, players that we talk about, Dave, you know, before the show, I still think that, you know, those good players don't understand the concept of building up the pot. They think that when they have the nuts, you're just supposed to check it, trap and trap and trap. You know, it's just...
Yeah. It's really funny. I mean, Russ has got to look at that pot and go, wow, I only lost $80 in that pot?
Yeah.
Man.
I didn't notice that he had flopped the ass end of it.
And the funny thing is, Russ normally plays it pretty passive, but it's a new Russ. He's playing a little more aggressive tonight. I like that in him, but you wonder if he would have check raised at the bottom end of the straight. Who knows?
85. 80.
Got an $85 raise here by, look at this, George in pocket kings.
Welcome to the game.
Adam's got a queen, jack of hearts. He calls. And is George that familiar with Adam? Here we go to the flop. Or is Adam that familiar with George? Oh, look at this, a heart draw. And it's not the card that George wanted on the flop.
Well, if Adam semi-bluffs this, and Adam likes to push his draws, if Adam does make this, say, 600 or 700, I think George throws it away very quickly.
He calls. Now, he actually could wait for the turn and see if George checks and then bet it on the turn.
Definitely. George is in a really tough spot here.
Turns a 6.
Oh, this is getting uglier and uglier, isn't it?
I think George is checked now. And Adam is going to bet.
And Adam, and you know what?
Well, look at this. George immediately calls it.
Well, he might know Adam.
Yeah.
You wonder, but man, that's a tough call there by George.
Oh, the river's queen. And now Adam makes a pair, and Adam just gives up.
Yeah. Now how about kings? You have an ace, you're good. Now how about kings?
I gotta tell you, I love it when someone like George does that to me. Because I will value bet, say, ace-jack suited on the river there all day long.
Oh, definitely.
Against him.
You have to.
Yeah.
You've got to value bet that.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny, Adam actually picked up a pair on the river, and that made him shut down because he goes, you know what? I can't get him off an ace anyway, and I'm probably good if he doesn't have an ace. The funny thing is now, if he doesn't hit the queen, and Adam throws, say, $1,000 or $1,500 in there, can George call?
It's too late.
But for you, as a courtesy, because I know you want to do something.
Pocket jacks for Russ. And we're going to get a final chip count in about 10 minutes, I think.
4 players going through that.
Russ is going to raise.
100.
He makes it 100 to go.
Yeah, he's got barbecue.
Now, if there's ever something that happens on the show that you're not quite sure about, I just got an email here from Garth, or Bart and I use some sort of terminology you're not sure of, go to liveatthebike.com. That's www.liveatthebike.com. Click on the left-hand side as seen on Live at the Bike, and we list all the terminology and what it means.
And Russ is going to take it down there.
Yeah, Russ bets that flop and takes it down. Adam throws it away.
Pocket aces, pocket queens, calls an all-in. Queen jack suited calls an all-in. And ace king suited calls an all-in. No, he held up. It came 9 high.
What are you doing here?
Button moves over here to seat 6. Ace queen suited here for seat 8.
It went south from there.
Yeah, we would have loved to, Crackhead, we would have loved to get Laura Dupont to join this table, but I don't think she plays up at this level.
No, I've seen her playing the 3 to 5 game, but I think she really likes to play the 200 game.
Yeah.
Just plays for fun.
Got a raise here by
obviously she can afford it, but
Adam.
Keeps it at a recreational level, which is fine. Hey, Bill Gates supposedly plays 3-6 limit hold'em.
Yeah, he's supposedly really solid too. Yeah. Well, 10-9-8 here. Russ has got an open-ended straight draw to the nuts if the queen comes.
Adam's got the bottom end of the straight already.
Yeah, he does, and he raised with it.
And now he's going to put money in.
Look at this. Allen called the raise with ace queen, and he's going to make a little weak-ass bet here. 60. And once Russ calls, I think it's an easy raise for Adam.
Oh, definitely.
You got to pop this up, Adam. There's so many cards that can come where you're dead.
Well, there's also cards that might kill his action, too.
And he does raise.
And by raising this right now, you might actually get Russ to call. Russ is still open-ended.
Makes it 500 more.
Obviously, Allen's going to be out of this.
Well, Allen, I guess he's betting on the gut shot to the queen. Now, reversed implies for him because if the gut shot to the jack, because if the if the jack comes, actually it's not. Russ does not make the straight.
I think Allen's obviously just taking a shot at it. And the other question is, can Russ take one off here? If he hits his hand, is it obvious?
Well, against the bottom end of the straight, I don't see how he possibly could get paid off by Adam.
No, well, the question is, though, if you put him on, say, Jack 10, right, and a queen comes off, can you get paid off, double up?
I mean, that is one specific hand you'd have to pay. I mean, these guys are raised 500 now. I mean,
no, I know. And Russ got to throw this away.
Yeah.
And the river was a 10. Wouldn't have changed anything. And turn, actually, I'm sorry, the river was a 3. The turn was a 10. Russ would not have gotten there.
Craig Rodriguez from Atlanta. How much is a massage at the table? It's actually $1 a minute.
$1 a minute.
Do either of you enjoy getting massages while playing? I do occasionally. I'd probably say 3 to 4 a month. Gabe, I know you said that you don't because you feel it's somewhat of a distraction, right? Barry Woods and Mo, I mean, they get daily massages, don't they?
I get that. I like to really focus. I mean, 7 months ago, I was playing Omaha High-Low, and I was getting a massage. And I had trip aces. I flopped a set of aces. And there was a flush card out there, and I thought somebody turned over a flush. And I threw away the winner.
Oh, yeah.
So the damn massage ended up costing me like $300, so I don't do it anymore.
Was that like in a 15 game? Legends or something?
It was a 15-30 Omaha game.
Adam is raised here with 9-3 offsuit.
And my wife's a masseuse, so I can get a massage at home.
Does she give you massages, though? I mean, sometimes I wonder if you'd separate work from, home.
She does separate work from home.
No, but
I get a special massage.
How about can you bring your wife to, it's funny, I was actually thinking of you, like if I had a girlfriend that was a masseuse, but she kind of wanted to learn more about poker, you bring her to the casino, and in exchange for letting her see your cards, she's giving you a chair massage at the same time.
That's a great idea. I mean, we actually talked about it during the World Series. She said, hey...
I don't know if they'd let you do it here because they have masseuses here, but I was like, this is my wife.
Of course they let you do it.
Yeah.
Somebody touching you?
Butt moves over here to seat 8.
You went and got Snickers.
Small blind is $10, big blind is $20.
Do you ever let your
Adam
wife
calls.
sit behind in big games?
Yeah.
Or you do? And you show her the cards and stuff? Yeah. You don't feel that someone's going to pick up a tell off of her?
Nah.
No.
She's got a good poker face.
4-way action here.
She usually gets bored. She doesn't really sit behind me that long anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it is boring.
Yeah, after like 10 minutes, she goes, okay, you're boring. I'm
Yeah,
going on. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like, fold. Okay, bye-bye.
60.
Adam's going to bet $60 into this flop, and he's probably going to take it down. Everybody nets.
Nice bet there. Adam recognizes the flop probably missed everybody. Tough to call even with a 10.
Back door there with the cameras. Man, I didn't have a hand that time. I like it. You didn't know about the 10.
Hey, thanks for picking that up, Eastern Bloc. Ace Deuce is not a big favorite over Pocket Deuces. Was I saying that?
I thought you said it the other way around.
No, we were saying that Ace Deuce is never. I think I said it at the end. I said Ace Deuce. We were saying Ace Deuce is never a big favorite over any hand. And then I think I might have said Pocket Deuces by mistake.
Oh, well, I see what you mean.
Yeah, thank you for that pickup.
I mean, theoretically, Ace Deuce is a big favorite over like 7 Deuce, 5 Deuce.
That's what. That's what I meant. Dominated hands.
A dominated deuce, but
yeah.
How often is somebody raising you in a dominated deuce?
Deuce 3 suited, maybe.
Right, exactly.
That's what I meant to say. King Queen 3 here on the flop.
Is that what Moneymaker was claiming? I saw the way he was shifting in his chair. I put him on 9 deuce.
Yeah, right. Checked around here to Bob. He's going to bet 7. He's got an open-ended straight draw here with Jack 10.
I like that kind of straight here. It's a rainbow board.
This is
You don't have to worry about it.
actually the one time where when you were open-ended with the bottom end of it, it's good. This is in this case with the Jack 10, because obviously the ace is the one side.
Anytime you make a straight with Jack 10 using both cards, it is the nuts.
I actually had a guy in the World Series highlight. It was the funniest thing. I was on the short chip. We had like 3 people left, okay? I basically moved all in. This was, I think, was in a $225 satellite.
Right.
I think we're going to do a chip count here.
There we go. We're about 31,000 on the table. Adam still has the table covered with 8,400. Paul's made a nice little jump up to 7,400. Bobby bringing up the rear with only 600. Let's see how they're doing tonight. Adam, wow.
What a showing.
Yeah.
$6,000 in the 10-20 game. That's a pretty good night.
Really good
And
night.
look at Paul. Like I said, like a seasoned turkey or chicken moves along.
Yeah.
2,400.
And it's funny, and he hasn't had his best night tonight, but still up 2,400.
Yeah.
David up 1,200. Russ up 500. Mark's our big loser tonight so far, down 2,200. I want to say seat 9, also Ron before. He was probably down, close to 1,500 or 1,600.
I don't want to call Paul the chicken because I think it's bad, but can we call him Paul the turkey? Because he's seasoned? No? Is that kind of stretch?
I like a seasoned turkey.
Like a seasoned turkey? 7-7-6 here.
Yeah, Russ has got 2 pair. Sean's got 2 pair also, but Russ is in the lead.
Turns a 9.
Doesn't change anything. Russ still has the best hand. And Russ is going to bet it.
Yep.
I don't think anybody can call this.
Real weak bet. Well, Adam's going to call. He's got a gut shot to the 8 with overcard.
What do I know? Adam calls. And is Adam going to represent, if he misses, is he going to take it away from Russ?
Well, I don't think that Russ can call any bet on the river, can he?
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
There's a big color. Bring a big color.
I'm sorry.
And you've got to realize, once you get called here, there's really no card out there that I want. And even a 6 doesn't change anything.
Well, there's a jack.
Yeah, and now Adam probably won't need to bet.
Well, yeah, but I think you do bet here if it's checked to you, don't you?
Probably.
But he didn't bet. Why not? Well, it's a third spade, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but is Russ going to check raise you?
Yeah, but he might check call, though, with 3 sevens, figuring because it's the third spade. I was going to
so
say
you're playing
that,
satellite,
I was
right?
three-handed, and I moved all in with, I moved all in with pocket 3s.
Right.
A guy called me on the button, and then kind of the big stack re-raised all in the big blind with ace deuce, and the guy in between folded and protected my hand because I had pocket 3s.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're like, thanks, man. I appreciate
Pocket
that.
3s, he re-raises, he turns over ace deuce.
That's
Like,
great.
you gotta be
That's
kidding me.
great.
Oh, man.
Live at the bike. Unedited. Unscripted. And every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10.
Lived around her. I guess George is getting back up. Tony's back. 7-way action.
Guess so.
Ace 10-4 with a couple of hearts. Well, Mark's got a flush draw on seat 1.
Yep.
Now, he's at the cutoff. Last time he didn't bet with the ace out there. If it gets checked to, I think this is an easy bet. Represent an ace.
And he is going to bet. There you go, Mark. Good bet by Mark there.
Confusing. All right, so what do we got here? His money goes here.
That's 80. Paul here is going to get out of there.
Yeah.
No one had an ace. Anytime you get a flush draw with an ace on board, this
Is Alan
checks
going to call here
situation.
at 10? No. I mean, this is Mark betting. I mean, Mark's bet like 4 times the entire night.
This is going to be the last hand of the night, Dave.
The last
As
game of the
always,
week.
pleasure.
Real exciting night. Real exciting week.
So, hey, limit hold'em on Monday. Come down.
Maybe 6-12, 8-16, or 20-40?
Call the plaza up. Ask for me. I'll hopefully be down here by. I'll try to be down here by 2:30. To try to let you know if it's going. Call the bike. Ask for the plaza. Ask for me, Dave, or Donna. Do not listen to the board girls of what they tell you what the game is going to be.
Right.
We cannot. They aren't necessarily always correct.
Tony posts dead from behind. Since he missed the blinds, obviously he's got to post $30. 20 for the big and 10 for the small. 10 goes in the middle and is dead.
Tony options.
And Tony's not going to raise it to get old 7 deuce. But it looks like, yep,
Raise it.
Adam is going to raise because he's gone the speed limit. He's got 2 red 5s. And Paul
Yes, sir.
is just going to call.
Get in there fast.
And we're going heads up here. Pocket 5s versus 7-8 of spades. It's about a race here. Let's see what happens. And terrible flop for pocket 5s. Really a terrible flop for 7-8 of spades. Whoever bets this is going to take it down.
Well, Adam checks.
And Paul's got position on the power of position.
I think Adam has a lot of respect for Paul's game.
Of course he does. And this is the one thing about Paul here. You know, he's tight, he's solid, but he does put some money in the pot.
Well, that's going to do it for us. And I think Paul showed the bluff there.
He did. He showed him the bluff.
Paul is capable of bluffing from time to time.
Oh,
sure.
definitely. But I think that's the one player Adam does not want to mix it up with.
So another week down, like we said in the annals, whatever you
Annals
want to
of
call
Live at
them,
the Bike.
Live at the Bike. Be back on Monday for a little, hopefully 2040. We can always hope 816, something like that. Little limit hold'em day, back to basics, right?
Yeah.
Back to a little pre-flop selection.
I'll believe it when I see it.
So for everyone in the booth and for Dave Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.